friends! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Aso, this is Aso Tarot, and in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at the next time you see the person, hopefully, that you are thinking of. So this is going to be a very in-depth, juicy reading. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing in the free reading. So to start, we're going to be looking at the next meeting in general. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at the overall energy of the meeting and see what information we can get. We're also going to look at what your energy is going to look like this next meeting and what their energy is going to look like this next meeting. So it should sound like a future version of you, but in the event that the you side sounds like your person and the your person side sounds like you, then just feel free to flip-flop them and do that for yourself. But I'm going to be referring to the you pile as you and the them pile as them, and that's how I'm going to be reading it. And then after we look at that and see overall what's going on for the next meeting, we are going to get into your tarot, which it is Aso's choice. So I picked a deck for each different reading, so you'll see what that is depending on which pile you chose. So we'll start by looking at how/when this meeting will happen. It'll probably more so be related to how, but I will look for any timing indicators if they're relevant. And then we're going to look at the best possible outcome for this meeting, and then what you can do to create this outcome or contribute to this outcome. And then we're also going to see what the worst case scenario for this meeting is and how you can avoid that, because it's so easy to catastrophize and get worried. So I'm very interested to see what's going to come out here, and I feel like it'll be a very, I don't know, I guess we'll just have to see what comes through. But I thought that would be great for my fearful worrywart homies out there. Might be a good question. And then we are going to finish off with guidance for this next meeting, and we're also going to see signs and synchronicities related to this connection. So that's going to kind of be a 2-for-1 sort of thing. Then if that reading is resonating and you are enjoying that, there is going to be an option to get the extended reading where we're going to look at what your person was thinking, feeling, experiencing the last time you saw them. So we're going to start by looking at how your person remembers this last meeting, and I'm just going to go in depth into their perspective, how they remember it, what their experience was, things like that, so we can get a general overview of how they saw the last meeting. It'll also help give us insight into like where you guys were and what was going on. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a physical meeting. This could have been online, whatever it may be. Then we're going to use the tarot, and I'm going to use the same tarot deck that I used for your pile, and we're going to look at their thoughts and their feelings during the last time they were meeting you, and also like what their overall experience was. So like just their overall energy. I might change that to like what they were experiencing on a soul level. Kind of just depends on what I think will work best there. And then we'll also see what they learned about you, themselves, this connection, whatever wants to come through from the last meeting that they've had with you. So like what they've realized, what they've learned, whether that's about you, them, the connection, we'll just have to see. Then we're going to see what they would say to you right now if they could be completely honest. And then finally, we're going to finish off with guidance from their higher self about this connection moving forward. So if you are interested in checking that out and you would like to support me and get a lot more content that is full of a lot more swear words and chaos, and trust me, if you want full-blown, raw, uncut ASO, the extended is where you want to go. I get very blunt and honest in those. So if you want to check that out, that will be linked down below. Of course, I'm just grateful you're here, but I do put a lot of love and work into these. So if you want to check that out, that will be there. But like I said, just grateful you're here. So let's go ahead and look at the 4, can you hear the chaos going around me? The 4 different readings, piles that we have to choose from. Each card is going to represent the overall energy of the next meeting between you and your person, and I have a stone on top. So starting with the first card and the first reading, I have this rose quartz swan on top. And then for the second card and second reading, I have this Charoite moon on top. And then for the third pile and the third reading, I have this Druzy agate flower on top. And then finally for pile 4 and the fourth reading, I have this Amazonite heart on top. So feel free to go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one pile. You could be asking about multiple people. Just do what works for you. If you pick a pile and it just does not sound like a version of yourself you see in the future, it doesn't sound like your person, then that is not your pile, and I would try a different one. But before we get into the reading, if you would like to make a wish with me, we are going to do that really quickly. This is my High Priestess candle from my candle line with Angelic Magic 888, links down below. And also, exciting news, I have a brand new candle up that I have not shared with you guys yet, but it is up there if you want to check it out. Feel free to guess which candle it is, but she is like brand spanking new, just came on the site today. So if you want to check out that candle as well as this candle or any other candles on her site, use code ASO10 for 10% off your purchase, and thank you so much to anyone who wants to. But the cool thing about these tarot candles is that each one comes with a mini tarot card inside. So what we're going to do is, I don't know what card is in here, so after I open this, we will see what the message is on the mini tarot card to see what anyone, the baddies who stick around for this portion, that is who the reading is for, and then we will make a wish together. So let's go ahead and see what our tarot card is and what our mini message is. And we have the sun. Oh, that's so exciting. Also, can we just like appreciate how gorgeous, like there is moonstone, amethyst, and I believe labradorite in this candle, if I remember correctly. And we have this little mini sun card. So I'm gonna interpret the sun in a second, but let's make our wish first. So all I want you to do is to focus on the candle and focus on whatever your wish is or whatever you wish to manifest. I'm gonna give you a second to think and silently put those intentions in. If you need longer, feel free to pause, but I'm gonna take a second to put in my wish as well. And now I will light it if I can find a lighter. Okay, so now that that is done, may your wish, my wish, and all of our wishes come true. And because I want them to come true, I'm not going to say what I wish for. But with that being said, we have our little mini tarot card, which is the sun. And if you are in the northern hemisphere, we are moving into the month of summer, which is really exciting. Leo energy could be significant here, or childlike energy could be significant here. This is definitely a sign that there are brighter days to come and that you should be getting excited. If you are in the northern hemisphere, I do think that this is a nod to the fact that your summer is going to be very bright and very fun. That is if you are watching this when I first upload it. It really does not matter. This video is timeless, like it says in the title, so it is meant for you whenever you are finding it. But I feel like this is a sign that there are brighter days to come, brighter days ahead. I also think that if you've been waiting for some news, I think that news is going to be very good. I feel like no matter what, you should be prepared for things to be lighter, to be brighter, to be easier, and to be more exciting. I feel like there could be new opportunities coming your way, or if you have been shooting your shot in some way, it seems like things are going to work out in your favor. It seems like things are going to be lighter, more fun, and freer. And I think you are being encouraged to stay optimistic, stay hopeful, and also stay open to any clarity that wants to come your way. If there's been a situation that you've been very confused about, I'm hearing that it's not only going to work out, it's going to work out better than you thought it would. So this is really beautiful. I absolutely love to see this. I'm gonna hide this little guy somewhere for the reading. So then everyone else who wasn't cool and didn't stick around for this part, they're gonna be like, why is that little tarot card there? And they're not gonna know. But that is all I have for you guys. So thank you for sticking around in the intro. Be sure to check out those candles or the extended if you are interested. Just grateful you're here. But once you've picked your pile or piles, you can go ahead and scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I will have all the timestamps listed below, as well as the links to the extended, links to candles, and all that fun stuff. So thank you guys so much for being here. I am so excited to read for you, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Rose Quartz Swan, then this is going to be your reading on the next time you will see your person. So if you want a full breakdown and explanation of the reading, there is one in the intro, but we are going to go ahead and start by looking at these two cards because they are going to represent the overall energy of the next meeting. So to start, we have the Ace of Swords. And the cool thing about this deck is that there's real places in here. So I can tell by the CN Tower here that the picture here is of Toronto. So this next meeting could be in Toronto. It could be in Canada in general. Shout out to my Canadians. Shout out Kino Tarot. Shout out to anyone else who's from Canada. My neighbor up north. Canada Day is in a month. If you're checking this out on Canada Day, let me know. Anyway, because I'm filming this on June 1st. Anyway, I'm good. Okay. So to start, we have the Ace of Swords in terms of your next meeting as the overall energy. And we also have Rainbow Road. You are on the right path, higher self, alignment, and authenticity. Did anyone watch the Mario movie? I was like very surprised by the layers there. I was not expecting Mario to have daddy issues. It's pretty interesting. That being said, we are also going to look at how you are showing up and how your person is showing up in this next meeting. If these parts do not resonate, they don't sound like you or your person, then this reading is not for you. If it sounds like I'm describing you on your person side and your person on the you side, then just flip-flop them. As long as it resonates, that's all that matters. But my intention is for the side with the pink paper clip to represent you and the side with the green paper clip to represent your person. So these cards are going to represent how you are showing up in this next meeting. So to start, we have the Black Egg. Expensive, fancy, love that. We have you have me wrapped around your finger. We have boundaries. And finally, we have the Three of Pentacles, which is represented as the T here. And then quickly, in case you're curious, this Black Egg card represents your overall energy. This Boundaries card represents your feelings and emotions. This You Have Me Wrapped Around Your Finger card represents what you will be outwardly expressing. And this T card, Three of Pentacles, represents your kind of hidden motivations or hidden intentions. So as for your person, they are showing up as the Scorpion. Don't get distracted. We have anxiety. And finally, we have the lily pad, which is the Six of Swords. So let me just go ahead and make sure. Okay, cool. Everything is in the reading. As I did that, I thought it said 222, but it was just me seeing. It actually took me 3 minutes to get through this. But let's go ahead and start by looking at the overall energy of this next meeting. So no matter whether this is like romantic or platonic, whatever it may be, it definitely seems like the next time you see one another, you are going to be expressing some sort of truth. It could be that you and this person have been dealing with some underlying tension recently. It could be that there's just been a lack of honesty in terms of like maybe there are things that the both of you need to tell one another that you haven't. The interesting thing is that you are showing up with this Black Egg card, which is a spirit card in this deck, and it represents the throat chakra. So you are definitely showing up in an energy of authenticity, alignment, and truth. And the interesting thing about the Scorpion card is it talks about someone who's very passionate and someone who is very selective in terms of who they get close to, very selective in terms of who they open up with. They have like a few close friends, and they're really focused on their work, but the Scorpion type people, and at least in this deck, they talk about, and this doesn't mean Scorpios, it meant this card specifically, you can get really focused this person could get really focused on the past or get easily burned, or they could have a hard time being open to others or being open and vulnerable in general because of fear that they may have around rejection, or fear that they may have around just like getting hurt. The overall vibe that I see here is that in this next meeting, you both are wanting to move forward from any difficulties you've had, or if there haven't been any difficulties between the two of you, then moving forward from any uncertainty or any lack of clarity. With the Ace of Swords being out here, this is an opportunity to get in alignment and have a fresh energy within this connection. So I definitely think that there's going to be the opportunity to talk about very important things. And I also think both of you are coming in to this next meeting from a very, like, in your case, I would say you are coming in with a more grounded approach, and your person is coming in with a desire for more peace. I can definitely see in your case, I think that you're going to be very upfront and honest just about like where you are at with this person, how you're feeling, how the connection is making you feel, and where you want to move from there. I also feel like though you're going to be strongly upholding your own boundaries. So I feel like you're going to be very open and honest about what works for you and what doesn't. And it seems like you're coming from this place of just really wanting to co-create with your person, the Scorpion person, or just build with this person and find a way to grow together. The fact that we have the Three of Pentacles here, it seems like you are going to be in an energy of just wanting to make this connection work, or wanting to build on what you and this person have already created together. I definitely think that you're going to be very honest with them in terms of like how you're feeling about them. And so I think that if this is a romantic connection, I definitely think you're going to be honest about your feelings for your person, and about the fact that about whatever you want to shift or change within this connection, whether that's seeing one another more, whether that's having a conversation about like a higher level of commitment, or being honest, like if you're already in a relationship with them, you know, maybe talking about like the changes that you want to make, or a truth that you've realized, whatever it may be. And I feel like you're in a position where you're open to whatever may be discussed. And I also think you're open to compromise and finding solutions, so long as those solutions and compromise don't violate your own boundaries. I definitely think that this next meeting is a culmination of a lot of growth for you, because I feel like you're going to not be afraid to be honest about what you're truly feeling, and you're not going to be afraid to be honest about what your boundaries are and what matters to you or what doesn't matter to you. And I also think you're not going to be afraid to ask the tough questions, because I think you're going to be okay with whatever you do here. There is this sense of like just a desire to know the truth ultimately, whether it is uncomfortable or not. But the thing is here is that I don't feel like in your case, I feel like in your case, you're a lot more at peace with this situation, or at the very least, you have a better sense of like, I don't know what the right word to use here is. You have a better sense of understanding of like what you want from this connection, where you want it to head. And you have a better sense of like, you have a better sense of trust within yourself. Like, I feel like you're better at trusting yourself to make the decisions that best align with you, and I think you trust yourself to advocate for yourself and your needs. I also feel like as well, you are very focused on reaching any resolutions or reaching a point of truth that I think that you've been wanting to talk about for quite a while. Like with this Black Egg card here, I think whatever truths you're wanting to express with this person in the near future, it's kind of like these truths have been culminating for quite a while. And I feel like maybe you've held some back because of, depending on how long you and this person have known one another, you know, maybe it just hasn't been, you haven't felt ready to express your emotions, or maybe you haven't felt ready to express what you're feeling about this connection. But I definitely think that you are going to be kind of showing up in this energy of wanting to be as authentic as possible and as truthful as possible and as open as possible, and also wanting to create an environment that's not overwhelming or threatening to your person, whilst making progressive change in the connection. Like, this is a very healthy energy for you, where I feel like you're showing up at a place of confidence. And I also feel like you're showing up in a place where you're like, I just want to be really real with my person about how I'm feeling, whether that is romantically or platonically. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a platonic connection, if the both of you are having like a very, I wouldn't even say challenging discussion, but like maybe an uncomfortable discussion, in the sense that like maybe there are things that you both need to address so that you can grow. Like maybe there have been issues in the friendship that you both need to talk about, or you know, if your person did something that you both haven't talked about yet, that might be something that they are, you know, you might know how you feel about this situation, but they may be going into the situation not knowing how you're going to feel about it. Ultimately though, it does seem like this next meeting is going to be a little bit more it seems like you both may be a little bit more reserved in terms of like your emotions and the like passion you may feel for one another, whatever that is, because it seems like there are practical and logistical things that need to be worked through in order for those more passionate and emotional elements to be expressed in the future. So moving on to your person with the Scorpion energy here, I definitely feel like they are going to be showing up to this meeting from a place of desire to also, if there is anything that you two need to resolve, they're also going to be in that energy. But it does seem like if there is some sort of like conflict resolution that needs to happen here, it does seem like your person is a little bit more overwhelmed and anxious about it than you are. However, if there is no like conflict or anything like that, maybe this is just a newer connection and you guys are still getting to know one another, I definitely think that your person is coming towards this connection with the intention of wanting things to move forward. No matter what, your person is coming in with wanting things to move forward and to move into a more positive direction. Like I kind of see, you know, two paths merging here. And what's that Robert Frost poem that's like two roads diverged by a yellow wood? I don't know why that's coming through, but maybe that has some significance for whatever reason, as well as Good Will Hunting, that movie. But it just kind of seems like your person may be feeling a little bit afraid and maybe almost defensive coming into this meeting, just because, you know, if there's any conflict you both have to face, they may just be really anxious about talking about that, or really anxious about like where you're going to be there. But no matter what, I do think that they're just going to be a little bit anxious, because I think that they want to move things forward, and I think there is a lot of passion and a lot of excitement around your connection, but they don't want to get rejected, they don't want to get themselves hurt. And I also think that they really do not want their anxiety or their fears to get the best of them this next meeting, because it's quite possible that this Scorpion person, maybe in the past they've wanted to have this like whatever this next meeting is meant to be, whether it's meant to be like a really real conversation, or, you know, maybe you both aren't even meeting up physically, you know, maybe this is on the phone, maybe this is like on Zoom or something like that, where you're not even able to meet physically, but you're still communicating. No matter what, the main focus of this next meeting is about communication and about like a fresh start for the two of you, whether that is a fresh start after revealing certain truths to one another, a fresh start after working through some sort of conflict, or some sort of just whatever may need to be addressed between the two of you. But I can definitely see that the Scorpion person may have wanted to, in the past, address certain things that they didn't, either because they were afraid, or because maybe they got distracted by you, because maybe you made them nervous, or maybe they were just, you know, I heard the word like mesmerized by you. But with the Six of Swords being here, this is definitely a sign that they want to move forward with you. And also there could be the intention, you know, the Six of Swords does talk about travel, so it could be that your person may be wanting to travel towards you, or may even bring up the idea of them traveling near you if you guys are long distance, or if they are far away. I do feel like the Scorpion may be kind of ruminating on the fact that there were certain things they wanted to bring up to you or be honest to you about in the past that they didn't. So I feel like they're definitely coming in with a bit of a fire, not only inside of them, but kind of lit underneath them, because I really think that there are certain aspects of this connection that they don't want to avoid anymore, like certain truths that they can't hold on to in silence anymore. So I definitely think that there is a real determination from your person's side to know what their intentions and expectations are before they even come in to this meeting, so that they don't get distracted or don't waste your time or waste their time, in the sense of like, they don't want to get into a repeat of the situation they've already been in, where they've wanted to say things to you or they've wanted to communicate things to you in the past that they haven't, either out of fear or uncertainty or just doubt or whatever it may be. So overall, it seems like whatever is meant to happen this next meeting, like, it definitely seems like you both are coming from a place of honesty, a place of truth, and you both are headed towards the right path. It seems like no matter what happens from this meeting, both of you are going to be feeling more aligned with your own truths, and I think that you both are going to be feeling more seen and heard by one another. And I also think that you both are going to be headed in a more positive direction, where you feel like there's mutual alignment here, there is mutual understanding. I'm thinking about, I'm hearing Drake in my head right now, so like, you know, obviously Toronto is the 6th, so I don't know if like the number 6 could be significant, but it definitely seems like overall you and this person will be coming in to this next meeting with a desire to be honest, with a desire to be truthful, with a desire to work together and build upon what's already here, to leave anything that keeps the both of you out of sync in the past, to help the both of you move forward and have some sort of honest conversation that you both are really needing. I'm hearing for some of you it's a long time coming, and for others it's something that you've been wanting to happen for a while. So for you guys, I'm going to be using the Final Rose Tarot. This is actually a bachelorette themed tarot deck. I don't watch that show, let me know if you do, but I actually think this deck is really awesome. So I'm just gonna give it a good shuffle, but while I'm shuffling, if you are interested, there is, and you know, if you watch this reading and you enjoy it, there will be an extended link down below where we're gonna be looking at what your person, like your person's feelings from the last time you saw them. So we're gonna look at how they recall that meeting. We're also gonna see what like their thoughts and feelings and overall experience was during that meeting, how they were perceiving you. And then we're also gonna look at what they learned from your past meeting, what they've realized about themselves, about you, about this connection from this past meeting. And then we're gonna see what they would say to you if they could be completely honest. So I'm gonna pull a lot of channel messages for that, and we're gonna finish off with guidance from their higher self towards you, and see what their higher self wants you to know about the connection. So if you're interested in that, that will be linked down below. But we're gonna go ahead and start by seeing how/when this next meeting will happen. So Spirit, how/when will this next meeting happen between pile 1 and their person, please? Whew, okay, so we have the producer plant. That is really interesting because this is a unique card to this deck specifically. So I definitely think that actually what is going to bring the two of you together may be some sort of external circumstance, or like external, it could be a tower moment, it could be a place of pressure, but there is a tower card in this deck and that didn't come out. This producer plant card is all about, like, you know, how in reality shows they set things up to kind of create chaos. So it does seem like some sort of chaos in either both of your worlds, or chaos in one of your worlds may be something that inspires the both of you to come together and talk. But also it could be that this next meeting happens very spontaneously or unexpectedly. Like maybe one of you reaches out to the other because of something that happens that's like very crazy that you both have to talk about, or some sort of chaos happens that maybe you both are connected to in some sort of way. So like, let's say for example, you both are from the same hometown, and something happens in that hometown and you both get news about it. And so you reach out to one another to be like, hey, did you hear about this? And then it leads to that next meeting. Or it seems like you could run into each other unexpectedly. I just feel like there's some sort of external circumstance connected to bringing the both of you together, whether that's online or in person, because I definitely think that however you come together is going to be what makes the most sense for the both of you. So like obviously if you and this person live in different cities, countries, states, provinces, continents, whatever it may be, it's probably not likely you're going to run into one another at the store, but it might be likely that a news event that you both are connected to inspires the other to reach out. Or it could be that, like, if you have mutual friends, or you have people that you both know one another, that someone could invite you both to the same space, or invite you both to the same, like, environment, maybe without telling you. It does seem like whether it is divine energy or human intervention, it seems like there is an external cause that is going to bring the both of you together next time. So that, or we can take this very literally as one of you is making plans for this next meeting, and it is supposed to happen, whatever that may be. Or the next meeting may happen because you had a meeting planned that imploded. So it could be the next meeting will happen when the meeting that you already have planned either falls through, or maybe the next meeting will happen when one of you plants the idea for it to happen in the first place. Take what resonates there. But now I'm going to see what the best possible outcome for this next meeting is and how you can achieve it. So what is the best possible outcome for this next meeting between pile 1 and their person? Oh, we have the moon. And how can that be achieved? We have the 6 of Cups, butterflies. Oh, this is so precious. So the best possible outcome for this meeting is a lot of closeness and the dissipation of illusions, especially ones around what one another is thinking and feeling. I feel like the best case scenario here is that there's a lot more closeness brought between the two of you that leads to a lot of emotional closeness. It's actually interesting. I think both of you will feel more emotionally secure in this connection by being very honest and authentic with one another about your thoughts and about what you've been experiencing and, like, your intentions. I feel like both of you will recognize emotional closeness when you both are just truthful about what you're experiencing and how you feel, and also, like, a willingness to be honest about difficult conversations or things that maybe you're uncomfortable with talking about. I think that will be very helpful as well. But I also think that this best possible outcome is related to true honesty, like true vulnerability around how the other makes you feel, or how important the other is to you. I feel like maybe one thing that's, like, somewhat dangerous about this connection is that it could be very easy for the both of you to project your fears onto one another, where maybe, the Scorpion person is holding back because they're afraid of being rejected, and you are like, well, I want the Scorpion person to tell me how they feel, but they're holding back, so maybe they don't like me. And then as a result, you're like, oh, well, maybe you let that, like, be an insecurity that starts running with you. And so then you're like, oh, well, they're holding back because they're not interested in me and they're just too afraid to tell me, or something like that. And so then you're affirming something that may not even be true to yourself. So I feel like the best case scenario here is a resolution that brings the both of you peace and emotional closeness. I feel like there will just be more synergy between the two of you and more comfort. I also think with the 6 of Cups being here, the best way to achieve this outcome is to just be as real and authentic with yourself as you can, and also to not push away or hide the sweeter, deeper feelings that you may have. I also feel like you're being encouraged. The 6 of Cups is a lot about childlike energy. So I feel like being in your inner child, or just not being afraid to be playful, and, like, especially if there are some heavier or more difficult things you both have to talk about, I think adding some more playful spontaneity or fun to whatever you both may need to talk about, I think could just make things feel lighter and less like stressful. But I also think with the moon card being here as well, I feel like the best possible outcome for this meeting is mutual closeness between one another and an uncertainty about what the future holds, but a peace about it in terms of like we'll cross those bridges when we get there, and like we will just continue to move forward and keep things feeling good, make sure we're both feeling good, and we'll just, you know, take each day as it comes. I feel like there is this mutual closeness from sharing your inner worlds, and this feeling of magic and this feeling of like connectivity with one another that's on an intuitive level. And I feel like the more you're able to verbalize like your own inner processes and what you've been thinking and feeling, that's going to be something that helps the both of you be more present in the moment, because you're going to be spending less of your like mental energy trying to read into the other, wondering what they're actually thinking and feeling. So you're really being encouraged to be in touch with your heart in this next meeting and be really honest, and don't be afraid to be playful and be fun and be vulnerable and be really, really real with this person. Like if you have like deep feelings for them, don't be afraid to say that. Like don't be afraid to be very honest about that. And you know, maybe you don't like go overboard and like pour your heart out, but at the very least you're honest about like, you know, if this is a romantic connection, like you give me butterflies, or if this is a long-standing friendship, you know, talking about I've been really reminiscing on when we were growing up and we did XYZ, or just things that get you into that like beautiful emotional space, but also you know that the other will appreciate. Because I do think that your person has this beautiful heart that they're very afraid of sharing because of past pain. And I think that you being very authentic and upfront with them is something that they will not only appreciate, but feel like it's easier to be honest and easier to be very transparent about what they're thinking and feeling, because they know they're not being judged. So now I want to see what the worst case scenario is for this next meeting and how you can avoid it. So what's the worst case scenario for this next meeting, Spirit? Whew, okay, so we have the 5 of Wands, and how can we avoid this? We have the 4 of Cups with reflection. And interestingly, on the back of the deck, we have the World, and this World card was kind of hanging around. So I definitely think that this next meeting is meant to happen. I think how you both approach it is your choice, but essentially it seems like the worst case scenario that could happen here is an argument that leads to no resolution. And it seems like if that were the case, then what's supposed to be your next meeting would then be like the next meeting again. It's like the worst case scenario is that the energy you've already been in, or the energy that you haven't been talking about, will continue to fester. And the truly worst case scenario is that you both feed into that energy and make the situation worse. So the vibe that I'm getting is that the worst case scenario would be you both get into an argument with one another and start fighting. Hopefully not physically. I mean, obviously they're like wrestling here, which is really real wrestling. But I feel like that would only happen if you approach the situation from like blaming the other person and not reflecting on how you both have contributed to certain dynamics, or how maybe you have contributed to where the connection is at now. I feel like this is especially for those of you where this is like a friendship situation. I feel like it could be very easy for you both to bring the past into things or blame the other person, especially if there's like long-standing dynamics. It might be easy to kind of like project onto the other. And so I feel like Spirit is saying, you know, make sure but before you go into this meeting, you know what you want to tell them, and you know what is yours to work on and what is not your place to comment on. So I feel like with reflection, you know, make sure, beware of like projecting things. You know, are there things that you're frustrated with this person about that you yourself could be guilty of as well? Are there situations where maybe you could have said or done something differently that you didn't do? You know, are there things that you want to express to this person that you haven't yet? Or are there fears that you have around this connection that you haven't expressed to this person yet? And what are they? And how can you express them in a way that doesn't put blame or fault on this person, but still allows you to speak your truth? I think just really reflecting on how you want, you know, your truth to come across, and you know, what sort of growth do you want to happen here? Because ultimately, I feel like the beautiful thing about this being the worst case scenario is that, you know, there could be a heated discussion where maybe you guys get into an argument. That's the worst case scenario. And the only way that's going to happen is if, one, you both fall into that. I really don't see your person falling into that unless you do as well. Because even if your person maybe started to get defensive or something like that, it seems like you're in a place where you can like easily calm that down and not play into it, not feed into it, so it helps them be calm as well. But I also just think as well, like, these are very like minor cards. So I think ultimately, if this worst case scenario did happen, you both would resolve it, and the reflection that would come from this experience would just help you both have more awareness into the next meeting about, okay, where was I wrong there? Or, you know, maybe you had a point here, they're here, maybe you were right about this. But ultimately, the beautiful thing is that the best case scenario, we have a major arcana for the best case scenario. So I definitely think that you both are moving towards a positive place together that is, and by positive, I mean a place where you both feel heard, you both feel understood, you both have created a space and like a dynamic where you can be more honest with one another and have more emotional closeness because you've been honest about other areas of your life and like other thoughts and feelings and just like what you both have been dealing with. And you could even finish like the night together, or maybe if you meet up during the day, like you spend all night together, or you spend up until the wee hours of the morning together or something like that. But I really do think that like you and this person really truly desire more emotional closeness, desire more of an understanding and just a feeling of connectivity where you both don't need to know what exactly lies ahead for the future, but at the very least you're at peace with where the connection is at, and you both are feeling that closeness, feeling this like intuitive connection, and feeling like you both are ready to handle whatever may come next. So like this is really beautiful energy, and I think more than anything, this is a call for you to reflect on any unresolved wounds or issues that you may have and how you can address those in the most centered and aligned way possible, so that if there is any conflict resolution that needs to happen, it's there. But if there is no past conflict, if there is no if there are no issues between you and this person, I don't even think this worst case scenario applies to you at all. I think that the only worst case scenario here is that you both are either afraid to share your emotions or afraid to be honest, and it just leads to you both like holding back a little bit more. But ultimately, I think that just having the courage to be honest and be truthful. I mean, it's even cool too because the CN Tower, it was a communications tower originally, I believe. So like communication is key here, and being honest is key. So we're going to go ahead and finish this reading off with some guidance for this next meeting. And this guidance is also going to include synchronicities around this connection. So take them as they resonate, but if you've been seeing these synchronicities, these might let you know what they mean or let you know that you're on the right path. Or if you see these synchronicities in the future, it might tell you that, you know, you're on the right path of seeing this person again or viewing this connection. So to start, we have the field mouse with success, and it says, believe in yourself and dare to dream big. And I don't know why, but it made me think, this field mouse card made me think of this book that we read that I read as a young child, like second grade, about, I think there were rats or mice in New York City. And I can't even remember what it's about, but it's literally about them and like their lives in New York City. And it made me think of that. If anyone knows what that is, like comment it down below. But that could have some, it has like similar energy to like Frog and Toad, if you've ever read Frog and Toad, but it wasn't Frog and Toad. It was like rat and other rat. I don't know. It was something else. And they live in New York City. But anyway, mice could be a significant synchronicity here, but I think the fact that we have success here is really just a sign that things will be successful. And I think that the fact that we have air and earth energy here, that's a really big sign as well. Like the more grounded and like logical you can be going into this, so that can kind of balance out like the passion and the emotion and potentially like anger or frustration if there are like things that you both need to work through. I feel like that will help you both have like the best outcome happen. We also have hiiiighly as a crystal that might be useful, which is really a great crystal. It's also super cheap and it's very good for calming. Here it says rest, mindfulness, and patience. So hiiiighly could be a good crystal to wear or a good crystal to work with before you see this person, because that could be a great way to help you. Or for example, maybe you resonate with the scorpion side and you don't resonate with the you side, you resonate with the your person side. I definitely think that hiiiighly could be very helpful in terms of like helping soothe those anxieties and those fears so that you're able to be more present and think more clearly. But we also have the third eye chakra with the theme of clarity, and the trigger statement is I am so confused, and the true statement is I am present. Allow your mind to clear and let the noise of your thoughts fall away. Listen to your intuition. So yeah, I think you're really being encouraged to. It's interesting because even in this rainbow rote card, we have like an open third eye and two closed eyes. So I really feel like you're being encouraged to look at things from an intuitive point, and you're only going to be able to look at things from an intuitive point if you are being present, if you're not getting lost in your thoughts and not getting stuck in what your mind is telling you, because intuition whispers while anxiety screams. So I feel like you're really being encouraged to be present and just observe, especially when you're around this person or when you are preparing to be around this person, because like even just observing your emotions, observing how you're feeling, I think it'd be very helpful for you. But we also have an angel number of 0101, but this could also be 111, the number 11. And it also says you are meant to be independent and a great leader. Your strong personality attracts others. Someone might be in love with you. There is no doubt a lot of passion around you. And I definitely think that like this definitely relates to the Scorpion person. Like I definitely think there's a lot of passion between the two of you, and I think that there's a lot of care here. And so ultimately, if there is any conflict or frustration, I don't think it's rooted in truth. I think it's just rooted in like, you know, humans being humans and like conflict resolution and things like that. But finally, we have refinement with the flower dahlia. There's air energy here. We have the number 42, which does reduce to the 6. So somebody could be running through the 6 with their woes. But the name Dahlia could be significant. And we also have the sign of Scorpio as well, so that could be significant. Scorpio is a big sign of transformation, of death and rebirth. And I definitely think in this case, you're just being encouraged to like refine your thoughts or refine like what you want to tell this person into like the most, well, I guess if you want to streamline it, but ultimately I think that your connection is reaching a place of refinement where you both are going to be letting go of what doesn't work and being and embracing what does, and just growing and refining this connection so that you both are closer, you have more clarity and more awareness. And yeah, I think that's what this next meeting is leading to. So pile 3, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the extended, where we are going to look at what your person was thinking and feeling the last time they saw you and everything to do about that. So if you want to check that out, that will be linked down below. But if you are leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and my channel, help me pay my bills, and show appreciation for what I do. But if you'd like to do that in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out the extended, that's incredibly helpful. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can also check out my merch as well as my social media. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Charoite moon, as well as this second tarot card. And this is going to be your reading on the next time you see your person. If you would like a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro. And if you would like to make a wish with me and know what that little mini tarot card is all about, you can check out the intro. So we're going to start by looking at these two cards, which is going to represent the overall energy of the next meeting between the two of you. So to start, we have the Star, number 17, which is a very auspicious. Is auspicious a good thing? Because it is a good sign, if that's the point of what I was making. And this card, which is the last chapter. Write your own story, closure, resolution, forgiveness. And then now we are going to look at what your energy is going to be like this next meeting and what your person's energy is going to be like for the next meeting. If neither sounds like you or your person or like, you know, an energy you would be in, then this is not your reading. If your person sounds like you and you sound like your person, then just flip-flop them. But I am going into this reading with the intention that this side with the the pink paper clip and these 4 cards is going to represent you. And then the side with the green paper clip is going to represent your person. So the cards representing you in this upcoming meeting are the Beaver. We have Growing Apart. We have Defeat. And we have the 2 of Cups with the Rose. And the Beaver represents your overall energy. Growing Apart, it represents what you are going to express in this meeting. The 2 of Cups represents your internal like intentions, emotions, energy in this meeting that you may not be expressing. And Defeat represents feelings during this meeting. So then for your person, they are showing up as the Bear. Is your light still on? We have Fear. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which is called the Tiger. So, wow, okay. It definitely seems like the next meeting with this person is going to be a very important one. And depending on where you're at, this meeting, you could feel all types of ways about this meeting. But the fact that we have the Star here definitely goes to show that there's not only hope and healing for this next meeting, but moving forward as well. The fact that it's also clarified by the last chapter, write your own story, closure, resolution, and forgiveness, means that you and your person, the next time you see one another, next time you meet, whether that is in person, online, or whatever it may be, it is going to be a very significant conversation where I feel like there is a lot of truth revealed. With the Star being here, I definitely think that this next meeting is going to occur at night. I can't tell where this picture is. In some of these pictures, there are, you can kind of tell where the photograph is from, but there's definitely like the northern lights and things like that. So you or this person could live really far up north, and we have very furry creatures. So like both of you could live in like a northern area or a really heavily wooded area. You could also have like the same letter first name or something like that, or you could just be very similar. Certainly don't have to be. But also, you know, in terms of timing, this is a timeless reading, so this wouldn't be soon for when I'm filming it. But if you come across it close to late January to mid-February, that could be when this meeting is, around like Aquarius season, because the Star is Aquarius energy. But also, given that the Star is Aquarius energy, this could very well be a meeting that does not happen in person, but rather virtually. Aquarius rules a lot over like tech and the future and things like that. But ultimately, the Star represents hope, healing, renewal. It's one of the most positive cards in the deck, and I'm hearing the word auspicious again, so I really hope auspicious means a good thing, because I do not have a dictionary in my brain and I can't remember the exact definition of that. So hopefully that means what I think it means. But let's start with your energy, because I definitely think that your energy, actions, and feelings towards your person have been very consistent for quite a while. You know how you feel, and I think how you feel is you either want to be in a more committed relationship with your person, or you have these sorts of feelings towards your person, and either you've communicated them and nothing has happened, or you haven't communicated them because your person just hasn't been receptive, and so it seems like it hasn't been worth it. And I feel like when this next meeting comes around, I actually think you'll be in an energy of not really expecting much from this person or this situation, because I think that you will have already reached an energy of defeat before you've even met up with this person or had this next meeting. It seems like this person has definitely disappointed you in terms of like maybe your expectations towards what you thought would happen in this connection, or maybe they just haven't shown up for you or shown up for the connection at all in ways that maybe you hope they would. Maybe you have even felt like your feelings are not reciprocated. But there's definitely been a consistency here where your feelings haven't wavered for this person. You know how you feel about this connection. But I think that the one thing that has shifted within you is that you've definitely likely already started surrendering elements of this connection because it just seems like you and this person are not on the same wavelength. It seems like your person is not showing up for you the way you're showing up for them. And I feel like you're kind of just accepting whatever happens. It seems like if anything, given like whenever you're watching this right now, because obviously this is the next time you see them, I think that you've probably already consciously made the decision to kind of hold your energy back a little bit, or just be more reserved in the sense of like, if your person reaches out to you or anything like that, like you're obviously going to respond and things like that, but it seems like you're doing less to instigate communication or interaction. It seems like you're not really going anywhere, and I definitely think that in this next meeting you're going to show up just as like consistent and compassionate as you always have. And I definitely think you're coming into this meeting with the awareness that you still very much have these deeper feelings for your person. If you're already in a relationship with them, then I would say for sure like there are some issues that you both are working through right now, and there could be some relationship issues that like you just feel like you're powerless to resolve on your own, and maybe your person hasn't been very transparent or very helpful in terms of like working through these issues. But I see that this next meeting, everything is coming to a head where things are either making a clean break, or things are you and this person are going to make the decision to change the dynamic of this connection and grow together. Now, the thing is that I think if this connection ends during this next meeting, it's going to be your doing, pile 2. It's not going to be your person's doing, because let's talk about what your person's energy is in. So your person is awakening to a lot of realizations about you and about this connection and how they feel about you. They are coming into a period of transformation where they're waking up. They could be spiritually awakening, which could be a very intense process. And that could be partially why this person has not felt the same things you have felt, or not been aware of the connection in the same way that you have. But I think this person is only just starting to see on a physical level the power of this connection, or how special you are to them. And that might be kind of hard to hear, especially if you've given a lot of yourself to this person. And I don't mean that in a way where like your love or like what you've given to this person is lost in any way. But I feel like this person has been deeply asleep in terms of their own awareness, and also deeply asleep in terms of like what they're able to receive. So it seems like a lot of the compassion and kindness that you gave to them, even though you gave it to them, they weren't able to receive it that way, in the sense of like understanding that you are giving from a place of love rather than a place of pity. Like I feel like this person is definitely awakening to a lot of realizations about themselves, and where they have been falling short, and where they have been unfair, and where they haven't given you or your connection, or just the people in their life in general, their attention or what they deserve. And I think that unfortunately, this person is having this awakening, especially when it comes to their feelings for you, where now they're realizing like, oh crap, this isn't going anywhere. I think that this person may have really slept on their feelings for you, or tried to ignore them, or tried to suppress them because they thought that eventually they would go away. And I think more than anything, as you've kind of distanced yourself, their feelings have only gotten more intense. And so for this next meeting, I feel like this person is going to have to do one of the hardest things in the world, which is be vulnerable for them. And I said the hardest thing in the world. I don't think that's the hardest thing in the world, but it came out that way. So for this person, it must feel like it's the hardest thing in the world. I don't know if they can bear it. That was a good one. I know that was good. Did I make you laugh? I bet you're thinking, just barely. I bet at 2 for 2. I got you again. I definitely did. You're totally not groaning and rolling your eyes right now. I know you're not. Anyway, I definitely think that they're coming into this meeting with a lot of fear because, one, depending on where you are at, pile 2, you could very well be like, I moved on. I'm over it. Like, it is what it is. And so this person might have to face rejection, or they have to be honest with you about what's been going on and face that uncertainty of they don't really know where you're at. I feel like for you, pile 2, this next meeting could be challenging in the sense that I feel like your person is going to be telling you things that you felt and experienced a long time ago. Like, and it might make you feel like, geez, have I been investing this much time and energy into this person and they're just now starting to feel XYZ? But here's the thing that you have to remember is that whatever you have done and whatever love and kindness you have given to this person in the past, it has been because you felt that way. It hasn't been because you knew that person was feeling that way, because then it wouldn't have been genuine and authentic and it wouldn't have come from your heart. So I feel like one thing I'm being called to tell you is that before this meeting and when this person does communicate with you, I do think that you may feel almost like slighted by the fact that they may be communicating realizations and emotions to you that you're like, you're just realizing this? Where the hell have you been? And you may even almost feel like a little bit embarrassed for like giving so much love and attention to them. And that's not embarrassing. That's not something to feel ashamed of. If anything, that is a testament to the strength of your heart, the kindness that you have, and how much love you have to give to others. Now, it's definitely not good to give that love to others under the condition of you get that love back or that they act in the way in which you hope they will. But I don't think you've done that. I think you've given from a place of genuine compassion and love. And I think that this person just hasn't been able to receive that or understand why, or understand that there was truly no ulterior motives behind your kindness towards them, because they are just now starting to understand that, oh, people don't just give to others solely because they have ulterior motives. They can and do give to others just because they want to. And I think that this person, especially during your next meeting, I think they're realizing that they have a lot to work on. And I think that they're hoping that you will, one, forgive their ignorance in the past, and two, just be open to hearing them out. I definitely think that they want to invest more time and energy into the connection. And I think that during this next meeting, they are going to be thinking about, in practical terms, what they can actually provide to this connection or give to this connection. But I think more than anything, this next meeting, they're probably not going to say a ton because they're assessing where you're at. I definitely think that it might be, which I guess we'll see this when we get into the tarot, but I do think that it may take a little bit of prompting on your part to get this person to open up. But the fact that in this star card, which is really interesting because in the regular star card, there's only one vessel pouring out. But I definitely think that even like the ratio of where these vessels are at, like the one on your side is lower to the ground, whereas your person's is much higher. Like, I feel like you have less to share than your person does. And I think that by you sharing a little bit, it will help your person to share a lot. But I definitely think emotions are coming out. And I think that you will be honest about your emotions in terms of like frustrations with this connection, frustrations with this person, frustrations with the fact that like you know, it seems like your compassion or your kindness or your love, whatever it may be, is not being appreciated. It seems like you feel unseen. It seems like you feel defeated in this connection in some way, where it's like it doesn't matter what you do if this person isn't receptive. And I think the thing is that now in this next meeting, what they're going to show you is that they're actually going to start being receptive. It's like in the past, communicating with walkie-talkies, but like the other person's walkie-talkie wasn't on and you didn't have any idea. And so you were just making assumptions about what they thought about everything that you said, when in reality they couldn't even hear you. So like they didn't even realize that stuff existed anyway. So don't even cringe or worry about the past. What really matters here is that this person is starting to wake up and starting to become aware, and they're going through a lot. So if you've gone through a spiritual awakening, if you've gone through a whole process with this person and this connection, just know that they're starting the very beginnings of it. And you have done a majority of the work. So first of all, hell yeah. And second, I definitely think that this next meeting is going to show you not only how much you've grown and healed, but also what it is you truly want. Because I think you will have the opportunity to walk away from this connection or write a new chapter in it. And I think that's ultimately up to the both of you. But I think your person is going to be in the energy of assessing where you're at, and also starting to do the very scary thing of communicate what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, and what they're going through. And it's ultimately about where you're at and what you want to put up with, what you don't want to put up with, whether you are willing to open yourself up to this, whether you want to move in a different path entirely. It's all up to you. And I think that this person is definitely afraid that that they're too late, and they very well could be. Like I said, it is up to you. But ultimately, this meeting is going to lead to a lot of happiness and healing for the both of you individually and potentially together, depending on what it is you want to do. And I think that's the thing, is like, and it's kind of ironic, especially if this defeat is related to maybe you have been wanting to be in a committed romantic connection with this person, and they were either non-committal or emotionally unavailable, and so you could just never get there. And so now you might be like walking in another direction, and then that's exactly when this person wakes up and is like, wait, I want something more with pile number 2. And then it really is, which I was about to say, I picked a random tarot deck for each pile, just intuitively, and for you guys I chose the Nightmare Before Christmas tarot. And it really does make sense. Like, you could definitely really resonate with Sally in that story, and your person could really resonate with Jack in that story, because Sally knows how she feels about Jack for like the entire movie, but it takes Jack until the end of the movie to realize his feelings for Sally. And so it could be that one, I mean, I always love how that movie ends with just that phrase, like, we're simply meant to be. oh shit. That creeped me out, because one thing that I noticed was like the fact that you guys had those bees here, and I was like wondering like if there was some significance to that, like maybe you guys have the same letter first name or something like that. But then I kind of made that connection in the end, we're simply meant to be. That gave me chills. That gave me chilly willies. So I do think as well, this could be an opportunity for you both to be really honest about your past together, and like the things that you want to leave in the past, the things that you've wanted to tell each other in the past, but you've been too afraid to. Like, this could be a real opportunity for you guys to pour out what you've been feeling and experiencing in a way that's not judgmental, but actually is an opportunity to get it all out so that you can grow and heal. But ultimately, I think that's up to you both. And I think the biggest thing that you need to know, pile 2, is that you hold a lot of power in this situation. And I feel like the biggest thing you're being called to do and know is to not hold back when it comes to the questions you want to ask this person, especially if they're the one that instigates a meeting, which we'll look in a second, how this is going to happen or when this is going to happen. But if they instigate the meeting and then all of a sudden they're very like, then they come into this meeting and they're just very like silent, or it's obvious they're holding something back, you know, call them out. Be like, what's up? What's going on? Why would you ask me to hang out? And now it seems like you're holding on to a secret you're afraid to tell me. Like, which they are. They're coming into this meeting with a lot of fear because they're having a lot of realizations about themselves. They're having a lot of realizations about the world. They're losing their grip on reality in terms of what they thought reality was. They're going through a lot. But ultimately, that doesn't mean you're not going through a lot. But ultimately, when it comes to this meeting, I think that you're showing up in the same energy you always have, but the interesting thing is that your person is showing up in an energy where not only are they going to be able to see you more clearly because they're not viewing you through the lens of their own wounds the way they may have in the past, but also they're showing up not in a place of ego and also not in a place of certainty. They're showing up in a place where they just do not know what is going on. Like you have the upper hand is the point of what I'm trying to say. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling your tarot so that we can look more at this. But while I'm doing that, I did quickly want to mention that if this reading is resonating and you're really enjoying it, there is going to be an extended where we look at what your person was thinking and feeling the last time you guys saw one another. So I'm going to pull cards to see how your person remembers this last meeting. And then I will pull cards to see what your person was thinking about you, feeling about you, and what was in their soul for you. And then we will also see what your person learned from your last meeting together. Whether that's about you, about themselves, about this connection, we'll just see what comes through. But we're also going to pull channeled messages from them where we look at what they would say to you right now, if they could be completely honest. We're also going to look at a ton of guidance. So we're going to get guidance from their higher self towards you and see what synchronicities their higher self might show up in. And we are going to finish the entire reading off with some really wonderful guidance to help you move forward. So if you are interested in that, that will be linked down below. I will say, I think they have been very interesting and very juicy so far. I've only done one, but it was very good and very enjoyable. So, you know, if you've never checked out one of my extendeds before, I highly recommend it. If you think I'm chaotic and unhinged here, you should see it over there. When I'm not being bogged down by sensors, like I'm gonna have to be very careful because I got very carried away with that bee synchronicity. Maybe bees, like, themselves are an important synchronicity in your connection or something like that, like honeybees or Bee Movie, Jerry Seinfeld, I don't know. But, yeah, sometimes I just can't hold back my honest reactions, but in the extended, I don't hold back at all. So, yeah, feel free to check that out if you're interested. If not, I'm just grateful you're here. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start by looking how/when this next meeting will happen. So for pile 2 in their person spirit. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is definitely a very destined meeting. And, you know, the Wheel of Fortune also has all the fixed placements in it. So it definitely seems like whatever this meeting is meant to be, it's already like fixed in the sense of you and them know when this next meeting is. So if you don't, I definitely think there is a divinely timed plan for this next meeting to occur. I wouldn't be shocked if your person is the one reaching out to you, or you both run into each other, which would make it even eerier. But ultimately, if it's you instigating plans, it's because for whatever reason you feel so called to that you can't ignore that call to reach out. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that for the most of you, like, this meeting is either going to happen organically or it's going to happen once your person is kind of in this state to reach out to you. And I definitely think that this is something where timing is not going to be very helpful because it's not dependent on like a period of time. It's dependent on how long it takes your person to get to this energy. So like, for example, let's say if you've ever played The Sims 4, you know that The Sims, like, they all have emotions, right? And there are a lot of goals related to those emotions where it's like you only reach the goal if you can, like, let's say, for example, the goal is for a Sim to feel inspired and to paint 4 paintings while they're inspired. So they can make as many paintings as they want, but if they're in any other emotion other than inspired, it's not going to count. So if they don't do anything to feel inspired, then it's going to take them a lot longer to reach that goal. So it's kind of like that in this scenario, where it's not about how long this takes, it's about how long it takes your person to reach this energy. So if they avoid anything that's going to trigger them, anything that's going to force this awakening, it might take longer for this meeting to happen. But if they reach this energy much sooner than anticipated, or if they reach this energy very quickly, this meeting could also happen very quickly. So timing is really, it does not matter, because the timing in of itself could shift depending on how you and your person shift. Well, really, it's about how your person shifts. It's a lot less about how you shift, because your energy is very steady and very consistent. So yeah, in terms of timing, I know that's not helpful, but it is something, the fact that we have the Wheel of Fortune here, it is something destined to happen. Like, you could completely like move on and be with someone else, or obviously if you're already dating this person, I would say first of all, this next meeting is about, you know, healing things in your relationship so that you both can grow and move forward. Or if you both are ready to end it, which I don't think that's the case. If you're together, the only way it would end is if you wanted to end it, by the way, because this person doesn't. That would be something that might happen. But ultimately, so I guess in that case, like, the next meeting would be, you know, for example, if you guys live together, whenever your person gets off work, or whenever you guys were planning to see one another next. But if this is a connection that you're not in a relationship with a person, then I would say it's definitely divinely timed, and like the divine is watching over it, and like this next meeting is meant to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that when is related to when this person is in the right energy, in the optimal energy to make this meeting happen. Because I do feel like the universe may prevent this meeting from happening until this person is in that energy, because that's the energy necessary in order to have this healing moment and get closure from the past to start fresh, or do whatever it is you both decide to do. Does that make sense? But now I want to see what the best possible outcome for this meeting is, and how you can achieve that. So what is the best possible outcome for this meeting? Beautiful. Okay, we have the High Priestess, and how is that achieved? We have the Sun. Okay, I love that. First of all, I just love that we have both Jack and Sally come out. And I think a big portion of that is the fact that, like, I think intuitively you know what the best possible outcome is. And you might be like, no, I don't. And I'd be like, yes, you do. Because what were you hoping to come out when I was shuffling that? What were you hoping the best case scenario to be? If you were hoping for something, that's your answer. If, when I was shuffling, you were getting very negative and being like, watch like the Three of Swords or the Devil come out, like watch a bad card come out, which, first of all, sorry to make fun of you, but there is no such thing as bad cards. Okay, there's just energy. It's about what you place on them. But also, I feel like if you're in that state, then that is a sign that you're unable to listen to your intuition, because you're too in your head and you're too focused on either, you know, your fears around this connection, or if you're, you know, projecting negativity onto it. It could be because you're feeling negatively about the situation. It could be because you're having a hard time thinking optimistically, which is very ironic, because the Sun is all about optimism. And actually, what you are really being encouraged to do here is to be, as one, transparent as possible with this person the next time you see them. And two, if you're happy to see them, if you're happy to be around them, show them that fucking light. Like, they're literally going to be asking, is your light on? So if the next time you see them, that your light is still on, you best be showing them, okay? Otherwise, they may not know. And I think the important thing you need to know about your person is that they're not intuitive the way you are. If you do not express it, they will not know it. They cannot read your mind. They can barely read their own. So, and that's not a slight on your person, but it's just a reality that you can't anticipate them knowing what's going on. But with the High Priestess here as well, I think that the best possible outcome is an outcome you know and feel in your heart, but has yet to manifest. And so the best way to achieve that is by, one, staying positive, staying optimistic, but two, with the Sun here, you know, being very clear about, you know, if this person's presence brings you joy, if you're, what makes you excited, what makes you optimistic, can you go into this situation optimistic? Yes, you can, but will you? You know, it's a matter of brain stuff, you know, not thinking that your brain rules you when in fact is the opposite. You rule your brain. But I think definitely just approaching the situation optimistically and not jumping to conclusions about what your person's energy or where they've been at. I feel like this is a lot about you being very real with them and very truthful and very honest. And that doesn't mean you shy away from the difficult things. Like if you're feeling defeated, tell them that. You can literally be like, listen, I've had feelings for you for quite a while, and I've had a lot of hopes for this connection, and I've just felt like you haven't received them. I felt like you haven't felt the same way, you know, and because I'm going to be willing to guess this person is going to be talking about a lot of intense realizations they've had. I wouldn't be shocked if they're seeing synchronicities or having dreams or just having realizations. And I feel like it's important for you to get off your chest, like any frustrations or any hardships you've experienced as a result of this person being unawake. And that doesn't mean that you have to like blame them, but you can be like, listen, you know, like I definitely removed my energy from this connection a lot because I just felt like, you know, you didn't feel the same way, or that this wasn't reciprocated. And like, I don't want to be in a situation where there is an equal give and take, or just whatever it may be. Don't be afraid to be honest. You can be honest and be kind, you know. Of course there are those people that are like, I'm just honest, I just tell it like it is, but really in fact they just get off on being mean, and that's the way they feel entitled to do so, is by, you know, calling it honesty. But if you're being honest without being kind, then you're just being a dick. But I think in your case, ultimately, the best outcome here is a reveal of secrets, an opportunity to get to know each other on a much deeper level, to reveal yourselves on a much deeper level, and also to be honest, to reveal your inner worlds and to feel closer to one another. And also, this is an opportunity for you to validate what you've always felt intuitively, what you've always known, but haven't had reflected in your reality. So with the sun here, you know, if you're really happy to see this person, let them know. If you're really excited to be around them, let them know. If you're really frustrated the way they've treated you, let them know. But do it in a kind way. Like, be as honest and upfront as you can. And also just don't be afraid to embrace and embody like the childlike, joyful energy that you typically feel when you're around them. I definitely think they need that right now, especially because they're in a very vulnerable position and they're kind of in a state where they don't know what's real or true for them right now. Like everything is up in the air and they are scared, but they want to invest more into this connection and into you. But I think there is a part of them that is afraid of rejection, and there's another part of them that is unsure if they're too late. And I think even if they are too late, you and them both deserve to reach closure, and so that you both can heal from this situation and move forward. Ultimately, what happens here is up to the both of you. And like I said, you 100% have the power. If you're ready to move on to someone or something else, you can, and that will help both of you heal, because you won't be stuck in that limbo state anymore. If both of you want something more, or want this connection to evolve, or you want to become closer and let the past be in the past, this is the opportunity to make that happen. There's a lot of healing that is meant to occur. And also, like, there's so many major arcanas here. So this next meeting is definitely going to be something that's very major. But now I want to pull what the worst case scenario for this meeting is and how to avoid it. And I saved this one for all my catastrophizing girlies, because I know how y'all are. So Spirit, what is the worst possible outcome for this next meeting? We have the moon. And how can that be avoided? That's so ironic that we have the moon. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so the worst possible outcome for this situation is that this situation continues to be in limbo and you both don't get to receive any clarity. Like, the worst possible outcome here is that y'all aren't honest with each other. Y'all don't reveal, y'all don't bring to light the things that you've been wanting to reveal for so long. And instead, You skirt around the obvious, you skirt around the deeper things here, and you completely waste the next meeting by formalities or doing something where you both can distract yourselves, like watching a movie or just talking about everything but what you both have been wanting to address. I also think another worst case scenario would be if you just don't show up, but I think like the way to avoid this is to be brave. This is the Knight of Wands, so the bravery and the courage, the Knight of Wands is one of the ballsiest, so whether that is the courage to ask those difficult questions, or the courage to speak your truth, or the courage to face the difficult conversations you both know you need to have. Because it kind of just seems like even if you decide to, if you fall into this worst case scenario energy, you're just prolonging the opportunity for clarity. And so I definitely think that you're being encouraged. If this person isn't being forthcoming, trust your gut and be courageous enough to start asking those questions, because they want to communicate a lot of things to you, but they may not know how to. They might be worried, or they might get so stuck in fear that they don't even know how to approach certain topics, or they might be afraid of facing rejection. So ultimately, the worst case scenario is that you continue this limbo of confusion and continue to project your insecurities on one another and keep this connection in a state of uncertainty and fear for what the future holds, for what the other person feels, for anything like that. So be courageous, be like this big old wolf guy. I don't want to say be an alpha, because that's like not a real thing, and I also think that stuff is really dumb, but like be an alpha, omega, beta, sigma, ligma, do whatever you need to do to feel courageous enough to speak your truth and ask those uncomfortable questions, because that is how you will get the answers you want. And the fact that we have the Seven of Wands on the bottom of the deck, I definitely think that you may have to, if this person, if it's obvious this person has reached out to you and wants to communicate with you and talk to you about things, and then all of a sudden they're in front of you, or you're talking to them and then they're exceptionally withheld, or all of a sudden want to talk about the weather, it's not because they genuinely want to talk about the weather. It's because they want to talk about something deeper, but they're too afraid to instigate that or say that. And I think that you have the upper hand in the sense that you have more awareness. And oh my, if anyone's seen the regular High Priestess card, there are two pillars. One of them has the letter B and the other has the letter J. They do not mean what I just thought of, but you both could have a great time that night if you want to, if things progress there, but it would only be if it's mutually consensual and it's at that point. Ultimately, like I said, you have the most power in this situation, and you're really being encouraged to shine as much light on yourself and your emotions and on your person as you can, because I think that you're going to give them that confidence to match that and mirror that and be more vulnerable. So we're going to go ahead and finish this part of the reading off before I move over into the extended by looking at your guidance for the connection moving forward and what synchronicities may be significant to this connection. So each card has different synchronicities in it. So to start with an animal, we have the otter. Initiations. Be open through this transitional time. So, there's no other person but you, pile 2. I think that's what this person is realizing. And they're definitely very good with puns. So otters could be a very significant animal. And the otter in this animal deck is always a very positive card as well. So I definitely think that otters could be a sign that this person's nearby, or they're thinking of you, or you could be close to this meeting. But also I think the fact that this is initiations, I do think that this next meeting is an initiation of a period of transition where you and this person choose to go your separate ways or choose to grow together. And ultimately it's up to you. And that's the beautiful thing, is that you have free will and you get to choose what you do with it. But we also have pyrite as a stone, enhance in prosperity. It's also a great stone. Do I have any pyrite? Yeah, I got some right here. Oh, I don't want to spill my coffee. I can't reach it. I got T-Rex arms. Here's pyrite. It's a very cheap stone, and it's a great stone for confidence. So maybe you want to hold on to that next time you see this person. But we also have the heart chakra with the theme of empowered. The trigger statement is, I don't want to be here. And the true statement is, I'm exactly where I need to be. You are ready to allow the energy from the divine and Mother Earth to fuel you as you fulfill your potential here. So I definitely think that this is something that's happening to this person. But I also think as well, you're really being encouraged to stand to your power and recognize your power in terms of your ability to affect outcomes and create the outcome you want or create the situation that you want. And oftentimes that just comes with speaking your truth or taking action or having faith that when you don't feel called to take action, there's a reason for it, and just not allowing yourself to be so overwhelmed. And I also feel like with this, I don't want to be here, you know, you probably don't want to be at this stage of the connection wherever it is. And I feel like this is really saying, you know, the connection is where it needs to be. It's up to you where it's headed, but the best thing you both can do is stand in your power and recognize that no matter what, this outcome does not, or outcomes in general, are not going to affect your power or your lovability or anything of that nature. But we also have 333. You are being encouraged. People appreciate what you do. Keep being yourself. You are helping a lot of people. Your truth resonates with others. You are capable of influencing a lot of people. So I definitely think 333 is a positive sign and a sign that you are aligning with this person. But also threes could be like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. Maybe those are different like potentials of how long it could take this person to reach this energy. But I also think like as well, this is really resonating in terms of, well, actually, I don't know if it's resonating, but hopefully it's resonating, and it would resonate for your person in the sense that I think that you are helping your person a lot in terms of like them discovering what resonates, them discovering what's important to them, and influencing your person to grow and evolve. So I definitely think that you're a wonderful teacher for the people around you. And finally, we have cleansing with lemon. So we have the number 25 and Gemini energy. So those 25 or Gemini could be a significant number, sign. But also we have this little crescent moon. So a waxing or waning moon could be that's what the moon phase could be in when you see one another. But the fact that this is all about cleansing, I really think you're being encouraged to continue to cleanse your own energy and release and get rid of what doesn't serve you, because I do think that there's a lot of cleansing coming for this connection, whether it's you both just leaving on good terms and reaching a state of peace with one another, or cleansing the past with one another so that you can start fresh and really give your connection a chance. So pile 2, I'm going to go ahead and move things over to the extended now. So if you want to join me there, feel free to do so. Links in the description. Shout out to you if you do. But if not, which is absolutely okay, thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else, because that's one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and show appreciation for what I do. And that keeps me from running ads on these bad boys, like, you know, the beginning ads. Also, other ways to support me, check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off any candles on Angelic Magic's site, whether that is my line or any of her candles. She has lots of wonderful ones. You can check out my merch, which is linked down below, as well as my social media. You can check out the extended, which is insanely helpful. You can like this video. That's super helpful. Comment down below. Let me know how it resonates. And you can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. And shout out to my notification squad. I see my comments most often when I first upload. So if you want me to see your comment, I would have those notifications on. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. Be sure to let me know if this resonates after you see your person the next time. But I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye. Hi. Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this Druzy agate flower and this third tarot card, then this is going to be your reading on what is going to happen the next time you see your person. So if you'd like a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro, but we're going to go ahead and start by looking at these two tarot. Well, this is a tarot card, this is an oracle card, and this is going to represent the overall energy of your next meeting with your person. So to start, we have the Three of Cups, and we have halfway point, meet in the middle, compromise, common ground, reconciliation. And then these four cards are going to represent you, and they're going to be on the side with the pink paper clip. And then I have another set of cards that are going to represent your person, and they're going to be on the green paper clip side. It's absolutely okay if your person sounds like you and you sound like your person. If it sounds like the energies are flip-flop, then just flip-flop them for yourself, so that makes sense. But I am going to read this like this side is you and the other side is your person. So to start with your energies in this next meeting, we have the Dolphin. This represents your overall energy. We have I need some time to myself, and this represents the energy that you'll be expressing. We have rest, which is what you will overall be feeling. And then this card, which kind of represents the things that are unexpressed or kind of like your underlying energy / intentions. And for you, we have the Hanged Man, which is called the Dragonfly in this deck. And then for your person's energies, oh, sorry, that was my chair. We have the Lion. As for their expressed energies, we have soul searching and a world to build together. We have self-care. And finally, we have the Eight of Swords. So let me just make sure that everything is in the frame before I get started. Yeah, because Mr. Cactus is not in there. Okay. All right, that looks better. Let's get started. So the next time you and your person see one another, which by the way, this can be romantic, platonic, whatever you may be asking about, I definitely think the next time you see one another, it is going to be a very happy and joyful occasion. The Three of Cups talks a lot about celebrations. It talks a lot about joy, happiness. And even though there are two energies here, it is quite possible that there could be multiple people, like more than just you two at this next meeting, or this next meeting could happen literally for a celebration or for an anniversary, for a party of some kind, but it certainly does not have to be. The biggest thing is that with this Three of Cups energy, I definitely think that there's just going to be a lot of joy and a lot of harmony the next time you and your person see each other. But I also wouldn't be shocked if you are quite literally meeting halfway, whether that is like the place that you're meeting at is halfway between where both of you live. If you live in two different places or like states, countries, continents, however far it may be, you could be meeting up in a common place that is like halfway between the both of you. Or this halfway point could be metaphorical, where both of you are making compromises during this next meeting or making sacrifices for each other in this next meeting. But this energy is honestly really beautiful, and it's kind of interesting because the individual energies of both you and your person seem not necessarily contradictory to the energy that your next, like the overall energy of your meeting itself. But I think it's just going to kind of depend on the circumstances of like who this person is and what your next meeting is actually about. Because I feel like for a lot of you, this next meeting could have like the purpose of you both taking the time to care for yourselves. Like maybe the next time you're seeing one another, it's like a vacation for you guys. Or if you are dating this person and you do see them a lot, it could be that the next time you see one another, you could be working through some sort of conflict. Like for example, maybe if you and your person are like arguing right now, it could be that you guys are coming together to reconcile and come to like a common meeting place and just kind of find a resolution that works for the both of you. But I feel like for a lot of you, this meeting could be happening after a long time apart, or it could be happening after just a long stressful period in both of your lives. And that stress may have nothing to do with like this connection at all, and everything to do with just like the outside world. The fact that we have a shooting star here definitely makes me feel like this next meeting is a wish of some kind. And there's a lot of stars here even with rest. So let's start with your energy, because I definitely think that this next meeting is something that you've really been wanting. Like, we have all these little tiny stars here, and I definitely think that you are going to be showing up to this next meeting in an energy that is just so beautiful with this dolphin here. Like, you're ready to have fun, you are ready to keep things light and silly and playful, and I definitely think that there is just this willingness on your end to make whatever happen in terms of like whatever your person wants to happen from this next meeting. Like, if there's any plans, I feel like you're gonna be, I just heard the phrase like, I'll be there with bells on. So I almost wonder if like you're just going to be in an energy that's just very excited to see your person and just very excited to be reunited with them, especially if it's been a while since you've seen them. But I also think there is this energy here where you're showing up ready to make compromises, ready to accommodate the other person, but there's also this unapologetic energy you're showing up in, where I feel like you're making compromises, but not to the point where it's a detriment to your own self-care. So part of me does wonder if for some of you this next meeting is going to be like a prolonged meeting. Like, it's not just a couple hours together, it could be like a few days or a few weeks, or like if you're traveling with them, for example. Because like, I do get the vibe of travel, especially with like the Three of Cups and the halfway point and all of this rest and self-care energy, like a world to build together. I wouldn't be shocked if you two are coming together for the purpose of leisure or for the purpose of joy. And I definitely think you're coming into this energy of not only being excited to spend time with your person, but I feel like you're also in a place where you're not feeling pressured to make your person happy. It seems like you're going to be very real and authentic about when you need to take time for yourself, especially if you are a more introverted person. And I think that maybe even this trip in of itself requires some sacrifice on your part. Like, with the Hanged Man being here as something that's kind of hidden, it almost kind of seems like maybe, for example, like you're making sacrifices in terms of like maybe the Lion person has things that they want to do that you normally don't do. Or maybe, for example, this trip for you is a lot about resting. Or like, maybe, for example, you weren't even planning on seeing the Lion person at all, but you found out that that was an option and you were going to take this time to rest anyway. So you're like showing up at this next meeting like, okay, I want to accomplish multiple things here. I want to connect with the Lion person, but I also want to take time and space for myself to like rest and recuperate. So I definitely think also you may be showing up in this energy where you don't feel any pressure. It seems like you're very relaxed. And even with the Hanged Man as well, there's like a lot of watery energy here. So I definitely think you're just going to be very present and centered in a beautiful way, where I think not only are you paying attention to your needs, but I don't feel like you're putting any pressure on the situation. Like, you're consciously recognizing that whatever this next meeting is with your person, it is a gift in some way, and maybe it is a form of self-care, like spending time with this person is a form of self-care. Or if you're spending a lot of time with this person, if you're particularly introverted, it seems like you will be taking time to yourself whenever you need it. And I don't think that that is really going to bother your person very much, because I think that they have their own needs as well. So let's kind of get into them, and then I'll talk about you a little bit more. But your person definitely seems to be showing up in a more masculine energy. Like, with the Lion card being here, the Lion card talks a lot about like self-transformation, and I definitely think that the Lion person may be coming out of a really difficult cycle the next time you guys meet up, where I feel like they've been a little tightly wound, in the sense of like, we have this cactus card here, which represents the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is a lot about being trapped by prisons of our own creation, whether that is like mental traps. Well, typically the swords are about like the mental body and the mind. So often it is like mental traps, or just the belief that we are stuck or trapped in some sort of way. And so I definitely think that the Lion person is coming into this meeting feeling like they have wisdom to learn from you, pile 3, especially as the dolphin person, because the dolphin talks about, like, you know, just being a blessing to everyone in your life. Like, a dolphin type person is someone whose energy is naturally healing and naturally soothing. And I think actually the lion person is really needing to take a page out of your book in a lot of different ways. And it's really interesting because even if you notice, like, the background on the lion card, like, the lines are very regimented and, you know, straight, whereas which this is totally not meant to be like a gay joke, but, like, you know, obviously the dolphins, like, all of this rainbow and everything's a circle, and, like, it's just quite the vibe. And I wouldn't be shocked if the lion person is kind of needing the dolphin person's influence. So if you, ideally, you're the dolphin person, your person is needing your, like, fun influence, that the energy of, like, emotional availability and vulnerability, I think, is something that the lion person is really needing. And also just needing, like, your light and your energy and your fun. Like, even if the lion person themselves is typically fun and, you know, you guys have a great time, I just wouldn't be shocked if they've really been kind of stuck in their own, I want to say the word sludge. And I don't know how that word translates in other languages if English is not your first translation, if English is not your first language. Not like I would know how sludge translates into any / every other language anyway, but, like, the words, I feel the need to, like, clarify that word. So I don't know if there's, like, non-English speakers listening, which, shout out to y'all, you guys are incredible. I can't believe you're listening to readings in another language other than your native language. Like, you guys are so badass. But, like, sludge is, like, I don't know the exact definition. It's actually making me think of a recipe that I think Grimes made that's called sludge, but it's not that. It's just, like, kind of a gross word. Like, it's slimy, it's like muck, it's like ick, it's ugh. And I do feel like the lion person has kind of been stuck in their own darkness a little bit, and I feel like there is a part of them where they have a hard time at this stage in their life of, like, dealing with their own ick, because I feel like they have gone through a lot of transformation on their own and mastered a lot on their own. But I think now a lot of their lessons are starting to center around connections with other people. And so I think the next time that you're meeting up, you may notice that your person feels kind of distant from you, or feels kind of like there's a part of them not fully present, and you may start to wonder or worry if that has something to do with you, but I think you're gonna quickly realize that it doesn't. I do feel like the lion person will have some fears around, like, oh, am I being too much for the dolphin person? Does the dolphin person, like, need time or space away from me? I do feel like the lion person may be afraid of, like, annoying you, or afraid of being too much for you. With this 8 of Swords here, I just can see themselves, like, maybe getting in their head and starting to, like, overthink about, you know, especially if you're spending an extended period of time with one another, like, they might be worrying, like, oh, am I, you know, annoying the dolphin person? Like, you know, do they need more space from me? Or, you know, are they actually having fun with me? Or I'm not having enough fun, I need to be having more fun, or I'm wasting my, like, I feel like the lion person has really just been very hard on themselves, and maybe has been a little bit too prideful in terms of, like, not willing to admit when they've been having a hard time or going through something. So I definitely think the next time you see one another, the lion person may open up about just, like, kind of what's been going on in their head, or, like, just about the fact that they do need to be more caring of themselves and more relaxed. And I think actually your person is going to be, I think, adapting to you and your world and your energy more than you will be adapting to theirs. And the reason I say that is because, you know, even in this, like, soul searching card, we've got, you know, this girl, like, swimming under the water, and obviously dolphins are in water, and we've got this waterfall with the 3 of Cups. And I really just think, like, your person is going to be focused on, one, trying to embody more of the energy you're naturally exuding, which is just this light, bright, creative, fun, free-spirited, like, let's just enjoy this time that we have together. Let's just have fun. Let's relax. Let's take things, like, one day at a time. Like, let's not stress one another out, and, like, let's not do anything the other doesn't want to do. Let's not force ourselves to do anything that you know, is too challenging or anything like that. Like, I feel like there's just this really big focus on relaxing and enjoying one another's presence, enjoying the time that you have together. And also, I think, you know, doing some important work in terms of just being honest and present, like with where both of you are at in terms of your own lives, and like how that affects your connection with each other, and how that affects your ability to be open and honest with yourselves and open and honest with each other. Like, I feel like both of you are very powerful souls, obviously. And with the Three of Cups being here, obviously that's a very like friendly energy. So I wouldn't be shocked if for a lot of you, this is like a friend, less so like a romantic energy and more of like a platonic energy. But I could also see how this is romantic. But I feel like if it's a romantic situation, these energies are a lot more about like joyfully reuniting after a time of, you know, just needing to do your own thing and figure out what works best for the both of you. And I feel like there will be a lot of communication around like what you both have learned, what you both have realized you need. And I also think that the dolphin person, which is you, if you're resonating with that side, maybe just kind of recognizing areas of where like they've maybe made too many sacrifices. And I'm not even talking about like with this lion person, but just life in general. Like, I feel like this next meeting is going to be very illuminating for the dolphin person, where they're going to be looking at things from a different perspective than they have in the past. And I don't know if that's because the lion is bringing things to their attention. Like, hey, like, you know, are you, like, it seems like you're doing really well. Like, what are you doing differently? Or have you been taking care of yourself more? It just kind of seems like there's a lot for you both to learn through each other the next time you see one another, where you may not realize how you both have been either going through the same things without communicating it, or you may just not have realized how much you both need rest and self-care and just time to be together and enjoy the human experience. Like, I feel like definitely for the dolphin person, which is supposed to be you, it's kind of funny because I haven't had that problem in any of the other piles where like I've had to like specify which I think is you and your person, even though it's not what I think. I set the intention that the pink paperclip is you, the green paperclip is your person. It may not always work out that way, and I apologize if it's confusing, but sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I apologize it's confusing, but you know, I'm sorry, but that I'm not going to change it. Actually, no, I'm not really, though, because if I was sorry, I probably would change it. Anyway, I definitely think that there is going to be, like, whatever this meeting is, it is going to be a time for both of you to kind of rest and recuperate. But I think for your on your person's end, there's definitely going to be a part of them that feels a little bit distant from you, and you're going to be able to feel it. And so I would encourage you, if you feel called to maybe like ask your person about that, because I feel like, one, it has nothing to do with you, and like for some of you, you might start to worry like, oh, is it because I'm doing something wrong? Is it because they don't trust me with something? Like, why are they being distant from me? And it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, or like just what they're going through. Because I definitely think that whatever time you're spending together, like they're really focused on wanting to spend time with you and do things with you. And you know, if you need time to yourself, depending on how long you guys are around one another, then how long this next meeting is, they might, you know, worry about like being too much or being too imposing, or like not giving you enough time and space to yourself, or just worry about like being draining or in some sort of way. So I definitely think that if you are the dolphin person, it might be really wonderful to really reassure your person, the lion, like, if you do need that time and space to yourself, like let them know. If you're good and you're fine, also let them know, because they might be worried that you're like just being polite or just being kind. Because the thing is too, with your energy being in the dolphin, is that it might be really easy for you to go along just to get along, and to do things that you're not necessarily comfortable with, or do things that you would rather not do just to like make other people happy. And I think kind of one of the main points of this next meeting between the two of you is to give you both the room and the freedom to do what works for the both of you individually, without making the other person feel bad about it. Not saying that you guys do that, but maybe you both do feel guilty about like taking time and space for yourself, or expressing your needs, or expressing what you want to accomplish, or how you want to connect, or what you want to create together, whatever it may be. I just definitely think that there's, on both ends, some guilt and shame around slowing down and like connecting and like taking time to just really be present and celebrate like whatever you guys have accomplished, you know, celebrate you guys even just being together, celebrating your sheer existences. And so I definitely think that this next meeting is going to be a beautiful opportunity for the both of you to enjoy one another's presence and really kind of bask in how far you both have come as individuals. And even if you've only known each other for a short amount of time, I feel like there could just be a lot of reflection between the two of you where you're talking about like, yeah, I remember that, like if you knew me way back when, or, you know, I used to be like this and it's crazy now to realize like XYZ. I feel like there's just going to be reflection. I definitely think there will be alcohol or some sort of like substance if that's something that you both enjoy partaking in. But I definitely think more than anything, what's beautiful is that like your energy showing up in the dolphin is, I feel like you're just going to feel really relaxed around your person the next time you see them. And I think your person is going to feel like they just needed you and your energy. Like being around you is going to feel like self-care in the sense that and it's interesting too because they have that little candle there and they're kind of showing up in fire energy. So it's almost like your next meeting is going to reignite their passion for either caring for themselves, for remembering why taking time for connections like with like you, for example, are important. I definitely think that they're just really going to be focused on you know, wanting to make the most of the time that you have together and also trying to get as much wisdom from you as possible. Because I think that your person just really benefits from being around you. It's almost like you help, and then this is interesting too, because like obviously cactuses, they have all those spiky things because they've got, you know, water in there and they're trying to protect it. So I feel like your presence is going to be very good on your person because you might help them kind of tap into their own emotional waters that maybe they're not able to do on their own because it's kind of like painful or vulnerable, almost like, you know, trying to touch a cactus. It's like, oh, it's like, it's kind of prickly to explore that, but I think your energy and your presence makes them feel safe enough to kind of assess certain elements of themselves that maybe they're uncomfortable doing on their own. And I also think because of the very joyful, very free-flowing energy that your next meeting like has, I feel like it will help your person kind of recognize where maybe they have been too tightly wound and where maybe they have been, you know, just not embracing and enjoying life. Like I really just feel like this next meeting is going to be very joyful, very rejuvenating for the both of you. It's going to be very relaxed, but also at the same time very fun. I definitely think that you both are just going to flow really nicely with one another. I just think in your case as the dolphin, I think that I definitely think that you're going to feel more in your element. Like, I think that it's more so for your person, the lion, where they're just going to kind of be, you know, working through their own stuff internally while they're with you, but it's not going to be something that inhibits their ability to connect with you, but it may be something you notice subtly. And if you feel called to, you can like bring that up, talk about it, but there's really no, obviously that's up to you, but there isn't any like real true like issues here. Like it's just it's just two people enjoying one another's time and presence together. And well, I guess if you guys are around multiple people or you're in like a large group setting, it may be possible that you take time to you know, kind of leave the group and do what and like recuperate. You know, if you're that type of person that's like looking for the dogs at the party or needs to go to the bathroom to like decompress, like you might be doing that a little bit. And I feel like your person just may be more focused on like connecting with you. Like if you do disappear from the party, they might be like looking at you, or like not looking at you, but like looking for you, or something like that. But I also think too, even if you guys are in a public setting the next time you see one another, I think that something is going to spark both of your desires to either have like very deep conversation or just kind of like bare your souls a little bit in terms of like what you've been going through and like just what's been on your mind, what's been in your heart, what's been in your soul. So it's very beautiful energy. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the tarot now because that was like a very, very long-winded energy check. And I hope that like made sense and resonated because I don't know, I wasn't very conscious or present for a lot of that in the sense of like when I'm channeling, sometimes I'm kind of more there and other times the universe really takes the wheel and I'm literally just being fed words. So I don't know if any of that made sense, but I hope it did. And while I'm shuffling these cards, if this reading resonates and you're enjoying it, there will be an extended reading where we are going to look at what your person was thinking and feeling the last time you guys saw one another. So we're going to do like a deep dive into just like their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. Well, their feelings are their emotions. We're also going to look at like what they were feeling on like a soul level. We're also going to see like just how they recall that last meeting. We're also going to look at like what they want you to know right now. So we'll pull tons of channel messages, and we'll also get guidance from their higher self and signs from their higher self in terms of like how their higher self manifests in your life, and just guidance for the connection in general. Each reading has been like 40 to 50 minutes, so it's a lot of extra content. So if you want to hang out with me over there, I overshare to an insane degree, and I ramble and swear a lot. So if you enjoy those elements of my readings, the extended is where you want to go. But if not, I'm just grateful you're here. So we're going to start by looking at how/when this next meeting will happen. So, Spirit, how/when will this next meeting happen? Oh, we have the lovers. This is so cute. Okay, so first of all, with Major Arcana, with a Major Arcana coming out, the lovers represents Gemini energy. So you could be seeing them during Gemini season, which is, I think we've already started it, but it's like, yeah, we have, because it's June. So it's the end when, well, it's June when I'm filming this and uploading this. So it could be the next Gemini season, for example, for some of you, which would be like, well, the current Gemini season that we're in for 2023 is occurring now, and it'll be around until like the end of June. That's when Cancer season will start. So you could be seeing them around that time. The fact that we have the lovers here, though, I feel like this next meeting is something that you both are mutually like choosing to create. Like this next meeting, I think, is a form of your own creation. And if not your own, then I think that this next meeting is stemming from a place of love. So whether it's an anniversary, a wedding, a birthday celebration, something rooted in love where it like brings you both together, which, you know, something that people love to do is travel. So it could be like a traveling thing. It could also just be anything that you both love to do together. So if there's something that you both share, whether that is a loving relationship or if there is like a trip that you're both planning or something like that, you know, it's whatever it is, I think you both mutually agree to it. Like, I don't think it's a surprise thing. I think it's more so something that happens and comes from a place of love. And I think that you both are going to be looking forward to it and maybe even making these plans because you love one another, whether that is romantic, platonic, familial love. But I also think too, I feel like this meeting is happening sooner because Gemini is also air energy. So, you know, air energy travels really fast. So I wouldn't be shocked if this meeting is happening very soon. And maybe even too, this meeting could be happening like virtually, or you could be having like kind of a meeting in the sense of like you could be talking to them virtually to plan like an in-person meeting, for example. But ultimately, I think that this is something like you will know how and when it happens because I think you both are choosing to create this moment together, or an outside circumstance will bring the both of you together, but you both are like consciously choosing to go there. You'll probably know that the other is going to be there. It's ultimately like rooted in love. So that's really beautiful. So now I'm going to look at what the best possible outcome for this meeting is and how you can achieve it. So Spirit, what's the best possible outcome for this meeting between pile 3 and their person? Ooh, we have the Ace of Wands, and how can they achieve that? We have the Queen of Swords. So I definitely think the beautiful thing about this, about the outcome of this meeting being the Ace of Wands, is that like, considering we have all of this energy, like all of these cards here around rest and self-care, is that I think the best outcome for this meeting is that you both will feel revitalized and rejuvenated and excited and passionate about life, whether that is life together or just life in general. With the Ace of Wands being here, I also think that this next meeting could inspire a lot of opportunities, or could be an opportunity for you both to create even more opportunities together, create more meetings together, or maybe just even being around one another is going to give you like the gusto or the energy that you need to accomplish your goals in the outside world. Because I do feel like whatever this next meeting is, it's one where you are both taking the time to relax and rejuvenate and appreciate and enjoy life. And I think that restorative, like that this next meeting is going to be restorative in a way where so long as you both, well, I guess we'll get into worst case scenario in a little bit, but I feel like the best case scenario is that you both leave this meeting feeling, just excited about what's next, passionate about life, passionate about whatever goals you want to work towards, excited for the future, envisioning unlimited possibilities, just feeling that zest for life, feeling very if you've ever seen SpongeBob, you will definitely be feeling like you've been living like Larry. Like you're ready to live like Larry. You're ready to live the Larry lifestyle. But I also think too, there's just this like how which I, as an introvert, I don't understand this, like socialization never like necessarily like energizes me, but socializing with the right people does make me feel good, and it feels like satisfying. And obviously like, unsatisfying socialization drains me, but like extroverts, they get energy from being around people. And I feel like you guys are almost like, even if you both are traditionally introverts, you're extroverts around each other, right? And I feel like you excite and motivate and like give one another energy. So I definitely think that the best possible outcome for this next meeting is that not only are you both aligned with your own creative energies and excited and passionate about what life will be like for you moving forward, like what you want to accomplish moving forward, but I also just think like it's almost like you both are recharging each other's batteries in a way where even if you have to go out in the world and do hard things after this meeting, you're ready for it, or you've come up with new creative possibilities that you couldn't think of before. And I think especially if you're dealing with creative burnout, I think this next meeting could be very beneficial for you or your person, or both of you, if you are both creative. And the way to ensure this happens is the Queen of Swords, which is beautiful. So Spirit is literally just encouraging the both of you to be very honest and communicative, because like I said earlier, I would not be shocked if it is easy for did I even say this earlier? But I would not be shocked if it's at the very least difficult for you to be honest about like your own needs. But I wouldn't be shocked if for the lion person, they have a lot of pride around expressing any need or expressing anything that makes them seem like weak or needy. So I wouldn't be shocked if maybe both of you are used to going along to get along, or just doing what makes other people happy to the detriment of yourselves. And so there might be this energy between the two of you where like you both just want to make the other person happy, so you're just trying to figure out what they want and not thinking at all about like what you want out of this meeting or what you want to do. So and I feel like for a lot of you, if this is a meeting that's lasting for a little while, like it is very important that you both find what's going to work best for the both of you and make compromise. So I think what Spirit is really saying here is to just be really honest with one another, but be honest from a place of kindness. The Queen of Swords does have a bit of that feminine energy behind it. So, it's like, be honest, but still be compassionate. Like, for example, if you're spending a weekend with each other, for example, and let's say the dolphin person is really starting to need some time for themselves, but the lion person is about to have this like deep, heartfelt, speech about like what they've been going through. The dolphin person might be like, okay, communicate to the lion person that you really want to listen to them, and or let's continue this conversation after I've had a nap so I can like reconvene. Or you might want to communicate to the person like, hey, I really want to listen to this, I'm not in the space right now, like can we take like a nap, or can we go get lunch, or can we go get food, and then like let's talk about this. Like it could really be anything, but ultimately I think you're really just being encouraged, one, to not jump to conclusions about what the other person is thinking or feeling. Be very open and willing to communicate what your needs are, what you'd like to accomplish, what your goals are, whatever this meeting is about. Like the hard thing is that I don't know what this meeting is, and I don't even know what the length of this meeting is. So ultimately, I think it's just really important that whatever this meeting is about, however long this meeting is occurring, I think it's just very important, one, that you guys make plans that are suited to you both individually, and that things that require both of you and both of your presence and energy, like, you know, just making sure you're both on the same page, you both have your needs met. And like, you know, if you are feeling any underlying tension, or if you are feeling the need to, like, you know, you need some distance or you need some time to yourself, or, you know, for example, let's say you've been taking time to yourself and the lion person is worried that, you know, they've done something to upset you or something like that. You know, maybe the lion person needs to be encouraged to say, hey, like, you're not being distant because, like, I upset you, right? Like, like, you needing time to yourself isn't because, like, I'm being annoying, right? I feel like just really communicating to one another will avoid any insecurities, avoid any, like, areas where you both might continue draining yourselves because you're unwilling to just talk to the other person. So I feel like, you know, one of the best ways to ensure that you both are feeling really good after this time together is not letting any of your needs, you know, fly underneath the radar. So in your case, you know, making sure you're expressing when you need time to yourself, and making sure that you're not draining yourself in the name of pleasing someone else, because the lion person especially is not going to want you to set yourself on fire to keep them warm. They can keep themselves warm just fine, and they only want to spend time with you or do things with you if you mutually want to do them and you get something out of them. So yeah, beautiful energy. But now I'm going to pull for the worst case scenario of this meeting and how you can avoid that, because I know y'all, and I know a lot of y'all are like me, and we do be out here catastrophizing. So let's see if we can help with that. So Spirit, for pile 3, what's the worst case scenario for this next meeting? We have the Ace of Cups. Okay. And how can we avoid that? The 3 of Swords. Okay. So I think the worst case scenario for this meeting, which is really interesting, is like, what's the best way to look at this situation? The worst case scenario is romanticizing this next meeting, or romanticizing the outcome of this next meeting, and expecting, like, it's so ironic that there's 2 aces here. So if I'm being real, I don't really think that there is a worst case scenario here. I think the worst case scenario ultimately is that, like, when this meeting is over, you both just may be really sad about leaving one another, with the 3 of Swords there. But with the Ace of Cups being here as well, like, obviously that is a very positive card. And I guess how to avoid that is I guess literally, like, being in an energy of heartbreak. But can we clarify this Ace of Cups, Spirit? How is this a worst case? Okay, so, okay. It's interesting that there's 2 3s as well. I feel like the worst case scenario here is projecting your desire of what the outcome of this meeting, projecting the desire of what you want the outcome of this meeting to be. And so the way you can avoid that is by, 1, not looking at the situation through rose-colored glasses, or 2, like, having unrealistic expectations about what is to come from this meeting. I also think, though, that, like, I think that this next meeting is meant to go really well. But I think that, like, if you fantasize about it in a way where you have really high expectations, or if you expect, like, the other person to either put in all the work for this meeting, like, it's not going to go as well as you hope it will, because, like, I think that in order for this meeting to go really well, it requires the both of you to be willing to pull your weight mutually. And I also think that the worst case scenario for this meeting as well is that you guys have such a good time that you don't really want to go back to, you know, your regular lives or whatever it is that you need to do. But I don't really see any, like, worst case scenario things happening other than you guys just don't want the time that you've spent together to end. And so I guess it's almost like, I guess the way to avoid that is, and you're, like, unwilling to want to, like, leave, or you do leave and you're mentally still stuck in, like, the time you were spending with your person. So I guess the way to avoid that is recognize that, like, all good times like this must come to an end, and that's why it's important to be present and really enjoy it. But also, I think that you're being encouraged as well to look at how you're being encouraged to be present and spend this, like, really make the most of your time together and of this next meeting. But also, like, you know, don't go overboard in a way where, I don't know, what am I even telling you? Like, do whatever you want, I guess. This isn't even really like a worst case scenario thing. I think it's just something where, like say for example, you're meeting, like you're traveling with your person, like you're traveling and meeting up with your person, because that is an example that I see a lot for that could be likely for a lot of you. You know, maybe a worst case scenario is you guys are enjoying yourself so much, you're like trying to figure out a way to keep things going even longer. And let's say like you guys get your hopes up and like, wait, this might actually work out. Like maybe I can get an extension for work, or maybe I can do this. And then it falls through and you both are like really upset to go back to reality or whatever it may be. But ultimately, I don't really think that there's any worst case scenario here. I think it's just going to be sad when you guys, like when this meeting is over, or when you do have to go back to reality. Because I do think that there is an element of this next meeting that is just like so fulfilling and nice and easy, and you know, everyday life isn't always like that. So we're gonna go ahead and finish this reading off with some guidance for you moving forward and some synchronicities related to this connection. So any of the symbols, signs, they could be related to this connection, but this guidance is also for this next meeting as well. Oh, we have the golden unicorn with ascension, awaken to your soul's potential. So I definitely think that this next meeting is something where the both of you are going to help each other propel to like an evolutionary state, to like a higher evolutionary state. And I also think that like this connection is a golden unicorn in a way where like it's really special to the both of you, and I think it awakens and empowers both of you in really strong ways. So I definitely think that unicorns in general could just be a significant mythological creature to this connection, but I also think that like this connection helps both of you ascension wise. So that's really beautiful. And I also think that this next trip in a way is going to help the both of you ascend on an evolutionary level and be very healing in that way. But we also have petrified wood with stability and past life, which like I love petrified wood. Let me just show some of mine off because it's very like lovely and beautiful and grounded. But this is some of my favorite petrified wood because it's got so many colors. It's got like pink and orange and brown, and yeah, I always like to joke that I'm like petrified wood because my last name is Wood and I'm always scared of things. But anyway, I wouldn't be shocked if you and this person have like some sort of past life connection or just have this beautiful soul connection. I feel like you are just really being called to trust in the stability of like the connection that you have together, whether it is romantic or platonic. Because I feel like you both might like be talking about really vulnerable and challenging like things, and these aren't, and I don't even think that these things are necessarily challenging to each other, but they might be challenging to even express or open up to a person about. So I feel like the both of you are going to be helping one another overcome and grow through challenging things that you have been trouble dealing with on your own. But I also think that you both are just going to, this next meeting is going to provide the both of you like a sense of stability where you both feel very comfortable in your dynamic and just like good. So that's beautiful. Let's see what else we have here. But also petrified wood could be a great stone. Or I guess it's not technically a stone. I guess it's wood that's been petrified, but it could be something you might want to get for yourself. It is very grounding. We also have the heart chakra with acceptance. The trigger statement is, we must remember, and the true statement is, I am free of the habits that do not serve me. Lay down the armor passed to you from your family. Release habits that are not serving you and forgive on behalf of generations past. Yeah, so maybe for this next meeting, the both of you have the opportunity to do things differently together. And maybe the both of you are going to have to look at how like you've been conditioned to do things, and maybe the both of you need to reject those or accept the fact that you have unique needs and unique ways of fulfilling those needs. So you will have to learn how to not feel ashamed to express those and not project that shame onto yourself. And I also think that like communicating to each other about, you know, the ways in which like you guys have been struggling or where you guys have been just needing more care towards yourselves. Like, I feel like that's really going to help, one, the both of you give more care to each other. Like, I think there's going to be some really heartfelt, honest conversations about like just what you guys have been going through individually, and how that's impacted you. And I feel like the both of you are really just going to be helping one another release things that don't serve you. And I feel like there's just going to be this beautiful acceptance of what is when you're with one another. And yeah, it's just really beautiful. You guys got 2 angel number cards, so woo. Ooh, we have 2323. There's a project on your mind. Carry it out and you will be supported and met with success. Get ready to go on a spiritual and physical journey. Your ability to adapt will quickly help you. So yeah, maybe the next time you meet, it is because of a project, or you are meeting on a physical, spiritual journey. Well, first of all, 23, one of my favorite numbers. 2 represents the High Priestess, 3 represents the Empress in Tarot. And so 23 to me is like representative of a very feminine energy. So I definitely think you both are being encouraged to be in your feminine energy with one another. I definitely think that you are going to excel at that more than your person, because your person is showing up in a masculine energy. So it may be very useful for you to kind of encourage your person, you know, when they do seem like they've got a lot on their mind or they're somewhere else, to like, you know, bring them back to the present. Be like, hey, let's play a game, or, you know, what's on your mind? Like, I feel like the one thing I do want to tell you, pile 3, is that you have this beautiful healing energy, and you just have a way of making even really challenging and difficult things something that feels less scary when they're navigating it with you. So just know that, like, you may not want to pry, or you may not want to be intrusive, but it's not intrusive to just ask someone, you know, hey, is there something going on? Like, you know, if they don't want to talk about it, they don't have to. But sometimes, you know, people are too afraid to be open and honest about what they're going through. They don't want to burden someone else with their own issues. And it's very common for people that are, you know, that have a lot going on internally, to believe that either their problems don't matter, or that they, you know, their problems are just going to bring other people down, or that they're going to look weak. Whatever excuses their brain wants to make them feel like they shouldn't share those things. I really think that you could be a great counterbalance, because I do think your person has a bit of pride around admitting certain weaknesses or certain insecurities or certain things that they've been going through. So you could be a great help to them. But we also have 1717. This number signifies luck is coming your way, both romantically and professionally. You are going to have a lot of original and creative ideas in the days to come. So that's very beautiful. And actually, it's interesting too, because you guys both got 2 repeating numbers. Like, there have been a lot of 3 numbered angel numbers so far, but 1 is the number of the Magician, and 7 is the number of the Chariot. So if you guys are trying to manifest travel with this person, or manifest like forward movement with this person, or anything like that, I definitely think that that's a positive sign. But finally, we have wholeness with Black Mulberry, with Aquarius energy, and the number 33. So I definitely think that this situation, like this next meeting, is inspiring the both of you to find more wholeness within yourselves individually, but also to find more wholeness in connection with others and like with each other. I feel like the both of you are going to be feeling very whole in yourselves and in your connection with each other after the next time you see one another. But I think you're being encouraged to look at now, what parts of you could you be addressing and caring for and tending to that you haven't been, that maybe you're not consciously aware of, that could benefit you the next time you see one another. So like, for example, you know, if you need a lot of rest right now and you know you're drained and burnt out, it might be beneficial for you to take some time to yourself for a little while before you even see them, so that you're not running on empty when you see them, for example. But whew, okay, this was a kind of a challenging message to channel, so I really hope that made sense. But pile 3, this is where I'm going to leave your reading. I'm going to take things over to the extended now, but if you're leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching and for letting my ads play in the background. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and show appreciation for my channel. So thank you to everyone who does that. But if you would like to support me in any other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad. You guys are the best. I will typically see your comment when I first upload, so if you want me to see your comments, have those notifications on. Obviously, you can check out the extended or any video with any extended. That's super helpful. Or just really checking out any of my videos and watching them is incredibly helpful. So thank you to everyone who does that. You can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off on my candles or any candles on Angelic Magic 888's website. I also have my social media and my merch, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 4. Welcome to your reading and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Amazonite heart and this fourth, I know it's going to bother some of you if I put it like that, but oh well, you're going to have to deal with it. The fourth tarot card and this Amazonite heart, then this is going to be your reading on the next time you see your person. If you would like a full breakdown of the reading, there is one in the intro. If you want to know what this little mini tarot card's about, you could check out the intro. But let's go ahead and start by looking at the overall energy of your next meeting. So to start, we have the Ace of Wands. And we have Lake Midnight. You're not stuck here, blockages, stagnant energy, self-pity. And now I'm going to look at the overall energies of you and your person during this next meeting. So this side with the pink paper clip and the cards I'm about to lay down are meant to represent you, and the side with the green paper clip is meant to represent your person. So I am going to be reading this from the perspective that this is you and this is your person. Now, if you feel like the energies are flip-flopped, then you'll just have to flip-flop that in your head because I'll be giving the reading from your person's perspective. So just be aware of that. But if neither side is resonating, then this is not your pile. So let's start by looking at your energies. So to start, we have the Vulture. And I do want to stress as well, like, don't get offended by the cards all have meanings. Like, doesn't mean that you're literally a vulture or like showing up as a vulture. I'll explain what that means. But that card represents your overall energy. And then this card is going to represent what you're outwardly expressing, which is look at the bigger picture. And then these two cards are going to represent what you're feeling during this meeting. So we have grieve and we have romance. So I'm going to kind of put these in tandem. And then this card is going to represent what you're not showing, kind of like your hidden energy or the energy not being expressed. And for you, that is the Ace of Swords. So as for your person, the energy that they will be showing up in this next meeting, to start, we have the Fox. What they will be outwardly expressing is love through the stomach. Their feelings for this meeting are change and abundance, which we're gonna have to figure out how to make all this fit together. So I'm probably gonna do something like that. And then finally, what they are not showing is the Queen of Cups. Okay, this is actually really beautiful. And I'm really glad that you're at this reading, pile 4, especially because the side that's meant to represent you, if this resonates, I definitely think that seeing this beforehand will be really helpful. I just want to make sure that everything, yeah, okay, you can see everything. So the next meeting with your person, pile 4, I actually think is going to be a really positive one. I mean, obviously it is up to our perception, how we deem experiences, but I do think that the next meeting with your person is going to be a very passionate one, a very exciting one, and I think it is going to remove a lot of stagnancy within your connection. I would be shocked if this is like a platonic type connection. It could be, and if it resonates as a platonic connection, then please feel free to take the messages. Just remove the romantic messages out of it. But I definitely think I wouldn't be shocked if this is like a long distance thing or something where you're not in a committed relationship with this person yet, but there's like, you guys are talking or you're dating or something like that. I definitely think the next meeting and the next time you guys see one another, it is going to be I feel like for some of you it's going to be a long time coming, and for others it's going to be a much needed meeting, because it seems like the energy of the connection beforehand is kind of stuck in an energy, which I literally just heard in my head, distance. So whether that's distance because there's a lot you both need to talk about, and like, because this distance doesn't have to be physical. It could be physical distance, but it could also be you and your person could literally live together, and maybe you just haven't talked in a really long time, and so it just feels like you're distant from one another. But ultimately, the next meeting that you have with one another, we cannot ignore the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is a very physical card, and it's a very passionate card. So and we have this intertwining here. So this could represent physical intimacy and a removing of any blockages, if you know what I mean. But it doesn't have to be that, of course. I do think, though, that this next meeting is going to be very exciting, and you both are going to feel very, obviously, like, very happy to be around one another. To be reunited is like the word that I'm hearing. And I also think it is going to be a much needed energy of rejuvenation to the connection, where it just kind of seems like the connection has been stuck in a certain energy for quite a long time. And I feel like for a lot of you, that is because of something like distance, or something where one of you or even both of you are just too unavailable to spend more time and energy together, or to be in the type of commitment that you want, or to just be at a better place within the connection. When it comes to your energy, pile 4, this energy is really interesting. And so I'm like trying to think of how I want to start talking about this, because I think you might be looking at like some of these cards on your side and being like, am I gonna have a bad time? Like, what's this grieve card about? And I think that this next meeting, a lot is going to be put into perspective for you. Where, and I think actually in certain ways, this meeting will be bittersweet. Not bitter in terms of this connection or this person, but bitter in terms of things that you've learned about yourself, and bitter in terms of habits and patterns within yourself that you're realizing. And also, I think you're going to be reflecting on past people that you've been involved with and past things you've experienced when it comes to love and connections. And I think you're going to be recognizing, one, where you just deserved better, where maybe you pushed away people or pushed away love because you thought you weren't deserving of it, or you thought you weren't ready. But I also think here, the next time you see your person, whatever you both end up talking about or communicating, your person is going to make you feel seen in a way that no one has seen you before. And I think that's going to be a very emotional experience for you, where you may even cry in front of this person, because I think that there are aspects of yourself that you thought either made you unlovable or made you feel like there was something fundamentally wrong with you, especially if you're like neurodivergent, or really have any sort of like, if you just have anything that makes you different, that makes you feel like for whatever reason that difference makes you somehow less than, or less lovable, or less worthy of love, or even something like that. And I feel especially called to say, like, I just heard something about like infertility as well. And I can't even imagine what it is like to go through that. But one thing I do feel very called to say is that your value and your worth is not based on your fertility, and it's not based on your ability to reproduce. Like, your value as a human being is so much more than just your reproductive organs and and their ability to function. You're so much more than that. And I'm so sorry if anyone has made you feel less than. And obviously there are so many ways in which people can make us feel less than for being different. But I feel like during this next meeting, you may have to come to face facts around the ways in which you've been judging yourself, and the ways in which you have placed limitations on yourself, or limitations on what is possible for you because of what you have deemed wrong about yourself, or what you have deemed as unworthy, or as not good enough, or as whatever you've deemed yourself as being unworthy of having or unworthy of experiencing. And I think that another thing that you're really going to be struggling with is the fact that maybe because of the blockages in this connection, whether they're distance or, timing challenges or work challenges, or, whatever it may be, I think that you may be realizing how you may have been making assumptions about your person and how they felt about you, or what they wanted from this connection, because things either aren't progressing as quickly as you hope they would, or your person isn't responding the way you expected them to. I almost feel like you might be building yourself up to expect disappointment for the next meeting, and then this next meeting happens and things go better than you planned, and you might almost be like frustrated with yourself, or you realize you could have created like a lot of torture for yourself where you catastrophize things or jump to conclusions about what you thought your person was thinking or feeling about you, or what you assumed was going to happen next. And I think that there's going to be some harsh and uncomfortable truths that you have to face around how you judge yourself and how you talk to yourself, and ways in which you treat yourself that aren't okay, especially when it comes to like allowing your mind to run rampant and almost bully yourself. Not almost, literally bully yourself, where you might be thinking to yourself, well, oh no, my person doesn't want to see me because I suck and they could be doing literally anything else. Or they don't want to see me because they've realized that I'm actually not worthy of love, or they've realized that I'm actually flawed in some fundamental way, or just things that are not real or true that you're telling yourself because you've been taught that, either by, you know, the people around you or subconsciously. No matter what, though, I feel like you are going to have to go through a grieving process in terms of realizing the ways in which you have misunderstood your value, your worth, what truly matters in this world, where your worth truly lies, the truth around your lovability, and the truth around having a healthy partnership, or having a healthy partner in general. Like, you may even be grieving, you may have to let go of the fantasy of someone else, or the idea of someone else that you thought you were going to be with, or you may have to grieve the version of you that truly believed that you were unlovable, or truly believed that you would never find love or connection with someone. And you may even grieve, like, you know, the years that you lost hiding from the world, or the years that you lost pushing everyone away, or the years that you lost stuck in limerence over someone else, or stuck in this state of desire, but yet believing you're not worthy of what you're desiring so strongly. I think that there's just a lot of uncomfortable truths happening during this next meeting that really don't have much to do with your person, and everything to do with where your own thought patterns have been distorted, and where maybe you have not accurately recognized opportunities for love, or recognized parts of you that never needed to change, or never needed to be shamed or ridiculed from you, or by you. I feel like you'll also be recognizing where maybe you yourself have misunderstood the value or the power that a loving romantic relationship can have, especially if you're someone who has always believed that you should do life alone, or that, you know, if you're in your Shrek energy and you just, you know, want to live in your swamp and do your thing, without realizing that there's a wonderful foxy Fiona out there for you. You know, you may be grieving like all the time and energy you've spent believing that you are unlovable, and just grieving, you know, grieving for the version of yourself that genuinely believed those things, grieving the amount of time and energy you spent believing those things, and upholding those beliefs. And also, you just may be grieving for the younger, more innocent version of yourself that didn't have the support or the resources to know that what you were being taught or what you were being told about yourself wasn't true, but just projections from other people. And I think that I feel like, right now, I think you owe yourself an apology for how unfair you can be to yourself sometimes, and how you can really write off your strengths and your skills, but yet be so critical and hard on yourself, and be honestly delusional about what you think your flaws are. So I really think that this next meeting is going to force you to look at things on a much bigger scale, and recognize, like, wow, okay, I didn't realize how deeply certain beliefs about myself had been ingrained, and I didn't realize how much I internalized about what I thought love was, or connection was, and I didn't realize, like, how much I maybe catastrophized things, or got too in my head over things. Because I think also one thing you may be realizing is, like, you may have anticipated things not working out with you and this person, and just anticipated things like going poorly. And I feel like this next meeting is going to go really well, and you're going to realize, like, I was torturing myself for no reason before this meeting. And I think you're also going to realize, like, the ways in which maybe you keep yourself trapped and keep yourself disempowered, because either you forget the tools that you've learned, or you just don't always have someone to counteract those thoughts. Like, I will say, as someone who spends a lot of time alone, if I'm in a destructive brain, like in a destructive like mental state, or in just a chaotic mental state, I could get very deep in it before I'm able to like be pulled out of that. And it often takes like someone else and being around someone else for me to even be like, oh wait, that was like very delusional of me to think that. But it's oftentimes like, it's not until we actually sit down and like see things outside of ourselves that we maybe recognize where we're not seeing things accurately. So I feel like for you, there's going to be a lot of truths that you're integrating during this next meeting, and I feel like it's going to be really bittersweet for you, like I said, because the sweetness of being with your person and being in this connection is really wonderful, but the bitterness is the realization of like, one, the healing work that you have to do that may be like, which, to be fair, everybody has healing that we need to do, and healing is a process that never ends, so don't beat yourself up for that. And also, like, awareness is the first step to healing, so you already are doing the thing, my dude. So you don't even need to look at it as like, oh, I got so much healing to do, but like, wow, there's a lot of things that need my love and care. Maybe even just like looking at that instead, like, healing is not a chore. It's something that can't happen naturally, and something that can also happen when we assist it. And I think that this situation is just going to be very illuminating for you, in the sense that I think that you're going to recognize, one, just how much you deserve this. And I think like you're going to be grieving like just how long, like the version of you that spent so long believing that you were unlovable and unworthy of that, and that like that was never going to be the case for you. And I think a lot of that's going to be going on internally while you're having this experience with your person. So let's talk about your person's energy, because their energy is very, very, very beautiful. Starting with this Fox card here, this actually talks about like a long-term partner, a wise partner, a strong mate, someone who's very charismatic, someone who's very caring, someone who's very likable, also someone who's very intelligent and very cunning. You know, the fox can have like more sly and sinister connotations, but they're definitely not the case here, especially not with this Queen of Cups. Like, this Queen of Cups represents what they're hiding. And what they're hiding is just how deep their feelings. What they're hiding is Heidi in Closet. I love her. She is one of my favorite drag queens. And I'm totally rooting for her on this season of All Stars. But I haven't seen the new episode yet, so if she got voted off, I don't want to know. Hopefully she didn't. Are you watching All Stars? Let me know. Anyway, who are you rooting for? I love all of them, but Heidi's my favorite. Anyway, your person, I think, in this next meeting is going to be very focused on moving this connection forward in whatever way that may be. And part of this grief could be like maybe this next meeting you guys are going to be making plans to move somewhere together, so you're going to be like grieving your old life, or maybe you guys are ascending to a higher level of commitment, and so there's a part of you grieving, you know, the past version of like yourself, or like your single life or something like that. It doesn't have to be the case for everyone, but that grief could be like, it could be a lot of things. It could just be like the fact that you're growing and things are changing. But I definitely think that you're going to be like looking at things from an overall positive perspective. I think that there's just a lot that your person may not be seeing, but that you're just going to be feeling and understanding and recognizing and reflecting during this meeting and after. But back to your person, I definitely think they're going to be showing up in this energy of determination around changing the stagnant dynamic that's been there. So like, for example, if this is long distance, I feel like the next time you see one another, there may be conversations about, you know, how do we make this a regular thing, or conversations about like, oh, I want to be in a committed relationship. So at the very least, even if there is distance, there is this like, there's something more solid there. So you're not just like worried that, you know, this whole connection is going to implode or change. But like, your person's coming into this connection with the desire to change the stagnant energy here, to reignite and reinvigorate this connection in whatever way possible. And I also think they're coming in with a desire to be your partner. And if they're not if they're not your partner already, and if they are your partner already, I feel like they're coming in with a desire to shift something in the connection so that it's more free-flowing, more exciting. It's like back to what feels like you guys. But also I think that if you have been dating this person for a while, then maybe there are parts of you where this next meeting is going to make you realize like, maybe you've been holding on to things from past connections that have nothing to do with your person, but they've been getting in the way of your ability to connect with your person. So you may like need to talk to them about like, maybe I need to take some time to properly grieve like things that happened in my past, or like properly let go of certain things that happen in past connections, because they're getting in the way of my ability to connect with you with your person, the fox person, for example. Doesn't have to be the case, but I wouldn't be shocked if this next meeting definitely involves a lot of good food, or your person could be making food. We have love through the stomach. And I don't want to just say that specifically this is food. Like, I feel like this is also a feeling. Like, I feel like your person is going to be feeling very powerful, just emotions and gut feelings about you, about your connection. And I think that, for example, they could show their love for you through physical touch, or like an act of service, like making dinner, or just like, I feel like you can feel it in their and their hugs, and in their physical affection towards you. But the fact that we have the Queen of Cups here is like, what they're not showing is like, they have a lot of feeling for you. Like they have deep feelings for you, and you're the only one that they have deep feelings for. The Queen of Cups is really interesting because she is the only figure in the traditional Rider-Waite whose cup is closed. It has like a lid on top of it. And so I feel like what your person has not been sharing with you is just, one, how deep their feelings go. And I feel like part of that is because they don't want to come on too strong, or they maybe themselves are a little bit uncomfortable with how deep their feelings are. But the fact that this is represented by an owl just really makes me feel like your person is also trying their best to be as sensible and as wise in this situation as possible, because they don't want to do anything to mess this connection up, because not only do they feel very deeply for you, but they really want this connection to go well. The fact that we have change and abundance here makes me feel like your person sees your connection as one that provides so many benefits and something that makes them feel unstoppable. And I also think that they just feel on top of the world and like they have everything when they're with you. And I think actually this next meeting might be something where your person, maybe they had an increase in abundance, or they're getting a new job that's going to allow them to have more abundance, or so there's some sort of change that is going to allow them to have, for example, maybe an abundance of more time, or an abundance of love and energy to give you because they have more time, or like, you know, their schedule has changed. Whatever it may be, I feel like your person is coming into this next meeting with the intention of, I want to change the stagnant energy that has been here. You know, this connection, when it's good, is incredible. And like the amount of like love that I feel when I'm around pile 4, the amount of excitement and just positive, free-flowing, good vibes that your person feels when they're with you is unreal. And so I feel like with this Ace of Wands here, they're really wanting to change the stagnancy in this connection and reignite your connection, or, you know, begin some sort of new cycle with you, whatever that may be. I feel like with the Ace of Wands, that could literally be anything. So like I said, it could be ascending to a higher level of commitment. It could be reuniting after some time apart. If you're in a relationship with them, it could be, you know, bringing back the spark and the passion between the two of you after maybe a more turbulent and difficult time together. This could be a lot of different things, but ultimately what it's leading to is a much needed shift in the connection. And it's also leading to, I think, your person being more available and open and expressive about what they're feeling for you and what they want from this connection. And I think for you, it's going to be a situation where maybe you've been projecting your fears onto your person. Like, so if your person's not very communicative, for example, like let's say they're really busy with work, and so they haven't been reaching out to you very often. And if you are like long distance, for example, you know, maybe that just makes you feel insecure, or make you feel like they don't really care. And come to find out, when they're with you, when you're together, they're like, I hope you know that I'm sorry I wasn't able to talk to you as much as I wanted to. Like, you know, everything, like I was so busy, and I knew that I wouldn't get anything done if all I did was talk to you, but that's all I really wanted to do. And like, I'm so glad I'm with you because now we can do this. I feel like your person might actually fill in the gaps in terms of things that you were insecure about or fears that you had around the connection, where you're going to be like, oh, wow, I was so off base in terms of like the conclusions you were jumping to or the things that you assumed that your person was feeling. I think that also your person is very good at hiding how they truly feel. And so I think it's very easy if you are just projecting your fears onto them, which you may not even think of it as projecting your fears, but like, you know, if you're afraid that your person isn't actually interested in you or is getting bored of you or tired of you or something like that, it might be easy to think that if your person is not very expressive or they're very good at just hiding their emotions. So I feel like they're definitely coming into this situation with a determination to change the dynamic and get out of this stagnant energy, and also to just give and invest all their time and energy to you this next meeting. Like they really just want to show you, they want to show you, not tell you, how important and meaningful you are to them. And I think that during this next meeting, they're either going to be demonstrating, probably somewhat overtly, but maybe a little covertly, like their value as a potential partner. Because I feel like this person, if you're not already in a partnership with them, I think they really, 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 really want to be in a relationship with you. But like, I feel like, you know, this is someone, your person is definitely not someone who gets into these situations very easily. So I feel like, and if there are like, you know, complications, like, you know, physical distance, or one of you has such a demanding job that the other person doesn't really get to spend time, whatever it may be, I feel like those elements are being worked through, and maybe your person was holding back on sharing their feelings because they didn't want to do all that and then be like, oh, by the way, I have to leave for 2 months because I'm going on a sabbatical in Ecuador. I don't know. Shout out to all the Ecuadorians out there and all the people taking sabbaticals. But yeah, like your person is just definitely like, I feel like the next time they see you, they're going to have this just very powerful gut feeling that like they don't need to doubt this anymore. I feel like your person is likely going to be very cautious and very controlled around you until this next meeting. So if you feel like your person has been holding back a little bit, but things are still seem to be heading in like a good general direction, I would say, yeah, your person isn't losing interest. They're literally just trying to keep their cool. Because I do think that there's a lot of passion here and they do just want to rush forward, but I feel like they're very afraid of doing that because maybe they've gotten burned in the past by, you know, just getting involved too quickly, too soon, and things like that. So I feel like their emotions are very, very deep, and their feelings for you are very deep, and they really want to make you theirs if you're not dating already. But you know, maybe they don't know how you feel, for one, so they want to be cautious, and maybe they're afraid of rejection. And then also, I think that they are just trying to make sure, you know, that they don't rush into things. They also don't want to get hurt, but I think that they're going to be ready for positive change that mirrors this portal to a new reality, like that's shown on this like midnight card, where I think that both of you are going to be getting out of like challenging blockages that you've had in your own personal lives, and I think working through blockages in the connection, where on your end I think it has a lot to do with like your headspace and maybe the assumptions that you have or the things that you might be projecting or the fears that you have. And for your person, I think there's going to be like a shift in terms of what they're comfortable expressing to you, and a shift in terms of their confidence in terms of like what they want from this connection and where they see your connection going. Like they definitely, I think they see your connection as one that could be very, very successful, and I feel like they see you as someone that balances them out very well, that they really enjoy being around, and that they're definitely very attracted to and definitely very passionate about and have deep feelings for. So it's like, obviously, like, why wouldn't they want this? So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get your tarot now. And if you didn't watch the intro, I decided that your cards would be ASO's choice. So I chose for you guys to use the Modern Witch Tarot deck. So that is the deck I'm going to be using for you guys. But while I shuffle, I did want to mention that if this reading is resonating and you're enjoying it, there will be an extended where we're going to look at the last time you saw this person, and we're going to see how your person remembers the meeting, what they were thinking and feeling, and what they were experiencing on a soul level the last time they were with you. We're also going to be looking at what they learned / realized about you, themselves, and the connection from your last meeting. We're also going to see what your person wants you to know now, and we'll do that by pulling channeled messages from a few different decks, and then we're finishing the extended off by getting guidance from your person's higher self and looking at what synchronicities and like what signs your person's higher self will show up in and what guidance they have for you and the connection in general. So they've been really fun and really juicy, and if you enjoy my chaotic rants, oversharing, and swearing, you will like my extendeds because I do a lot of that, and I also work really hard on them and put lots of love into them, and you help support me by checking them out, but you support me just by watching, so thank you for being here. So I'm going to start by looking at how / when this next meeting will happen. Let's just see. So Spirit, how / when will this next meeting happen between pile 4 and their person? We have the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm going to get a clarifier for that. So I definitely feel like you've been waiting to see this person, and I feel like you're going to be waiting a bit longer. I'm sorry if that's frustrating. Okay, yeah, we have strength. So, okay. Strength could obviously mean Leo season. So if you're watching this when I'm first uploading it, we are currently in Gemini season. So Leo season would be the end of July to mid to late August, or timing may not be a factor at all, but it may in fact be the meeting is dependent on some sort of, it seems like, which I do think this is your person thing, because it's Earth and your person came out in an Earth energy. I would not be shocked if your person is waiting on something to change, some sort of answer or some sort of shift in order for this meeting to happen. The 7 of Pentacles is all about waiting for fruit to grow, waiting for yeah, I mean, like one of the biggest words that I think of when I see the 7 of Pentacles is like patience and waiting. It can also be reflection, and it can be, you know, it can also kind of represent like, it wouldn't be a halfway point in like the tarot because there's only 1 through 10, but like, actually that's not necessarily true because there's technically 14 minor cards. So I guess the 7, if you added the court cards, would be the exact like center of, would be the exact middle of a cycle, but I guess that's only if you're counting court cards. Point being, I do think that your person, I do think that the next meeting is going to depend on factors outside of you and your person's control. So it seems like you or your person, or both of you, are waiting on some sort of opportunity to make this happen, whether that is because of financial constrictions or because of work constrictions. I do think it's a logistical thing. Like, I think that if it were in, like, if you and your person had the power to, like, you would be hanging out with each other tomorrow, like, as soon as you could. I think it's something to do with an external restraint outside of the connection itself. But the fact that we have strength here is really powerful, because I feel like what this is saying is, well, one, I mean, in terms of timing, like Pentacles are is a very slow moving energy. I do feel really called to say, especially with the 7 of Pentacles here, that like you don't have to worry about like this person losing interest or like this just fizzling out. Like there's something already very solid here, and seeds have already been planted. And if you're feeling like you need to see this person soon because you're afraid that things will just fizzle out and disappear, I feel like this is a sign to not worry about that, because that's not the case. Now, in terms of the timing of when you will see one another, I feel like it is literally, it's going to depend on factors outside of both of your control. That I think depends on, you know, what you both do for work and like logistical things. So ultimately that, like, it could be very soon for some of you and it could be a very long time for others. You know, it just depends. Like, for example, if your person is in the military and they're stationed overseas, your next meeting might be a little while. It might be a while till you see them. But, you know, for example, if your person is in school and they're about to graduate, but they don't know where they're going to end up, you know, maybe you're just waiting to figure out where this person is moving to or what their plan is. It's really going to depend on logistical things. But ultimately, what Spirit is coming through to say is that the power of this connection is incredibly strong. And the most important thing that I think you both need to do is not let your egos or your fears get in the way of this next meeting, because it is going to happen so long as you both still want it and both of you do want it. It's literally just a matter of, like, I feel like the only way this situation could be sabotaged is if one of you let your fears get the best of you and, you know, you push the other away or just decided that you didn't want to pursue this anymore. So, which, I mean, is valid. But I do think ultimately what Spirit wants you to know is that, you know, it will take some time. How long that time is really depends on each of you, like I said. It will require a little patience on your end, but Spirit's really asking you not to doubt the strength of the connection, how deeply you feel for one another, and the power of that connection, because distance means so little when love means so much, which is so sweet, and like my heart is melting as I'm channeling that. So I do think as well, like, you will have, I feel like for a lot of you, you'll at least have answers soon so you can start making plans. But I think it's going to depend on, like, you know, financial and like occupational factors or logistical factors. Like if you have a family or something like that, or if you have kids or something like that, you know, maybe you can't take time off until they're out of school and they're with their other parent, for example, or something like that. So the next meeting, how? I think it's going to be something that how is when you have free time and you're actually able to make those plans, and when is when the restrictions lift up, which I know is really unsatisfying. Actually, it's kind of frustrating because all the other piles have been really good about giving us some sort of more definitive answer. But I do think as well, the timing of this meeting could differ depending on how you make it work. Like, say, for example, if someone has work and they literally can't take off, maybe one of you works remotely. So you decide, okay, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of waiting. If they'll let me, I'll just go stay with them and take my work with me or something like that. But ultimately, I think this next meeting is going to depend a lot on just what is going to work out the best for you, like what's actually going to be like financially and calendarly, time-wise feasible for the both of you. But I feel like if there's impatience and frustration around like, when am I going to see them? I did just hear like 7 weeks. So 7 weeks could be a specific number. I know that feels like a long time, but it's really not that long. It's like a month, and it's like less than 2 months, but that feels like a long time. But I mean, maybe for some of you, like for example, if your person is deployed or something like that, it could literally be like 7 months or something like that. But ultimately, I do think that the biggest thing you need to know is that the feelings here are very real and very deep. And if your person is unavailable in some way, I think it is mainly unavailability due to like career or distance. It's not like emotional unavailability, because I feel like your person has really deep feelings for you. But also, you know, if you are at a distance and you're not together, I also feel like your person may feel like it's unfair for them to pour out their feelings to you if they're not able to act on them. And like, you know, they don't just want to talk the talk, they want to walk the walk. So I want to see the best possible outcome for this next meeting and how to make that happen. So what is the best possible outcome for this next meeting, please, Spirit? Whoa, okay. So we have the Fool, and I just kind of want to see what's going on underneath these. I'm going to put them back in the deck, but oh yeah, wow, okay. So we have the 10 of Wands, Temperance, the 3 of Wands, the High Priestess, the King of Wands. So why am I holding these? I just kind of wanted to see what would pop out, but I definitely think that, actually, I feel like this is an external message. to let go of all the stress and fear around how all of this is going to work out. This connection, one, is being protected by Archangel Michael, but also it's going to require a little bit of patience, and it may also require travel on your part. So I feel like you're really just being encouraged to like trust your intuition on things and not let overthinking get in the way. But with this King of Wands, I feel like the King of Wands really emulates the Fox's energy very well. So I do think that your person is already like, if it's up to your person to figure out when you guys are seeing one another next, like if your person is the one with a lot of the limitations, I do feel like they are on top of that and they are working on it. So I feel like Spirit wants you to know that and to not burden yourself so much with it, because it'll happen when it's meant to happen. But that being said, let me give this a good shuffle so that we can see how to ensure that the Fool is the best possible outcome. So the Fool is all about a new beginning. It's all about a fresh start and a leap of faith. So it would be very fitting if that is a leap of faith in terms of a relationship, you know, choosing to be committed to one another. Maybe that is choosing to start a new life together or make a move or do something different. Like this is definitely a major life change that requires a leap of faith. So this could be a very powerful next meeting. So Spirit, how can Pile 4 ensure that this is the outcome? Okay, we have the Devil. So this is really funny, but it also makes a lot of sense. I think that this is kind of a twofold message. You're being encouraged to keep your own shadow in check in terms of like what you project and your own fears. But also I think you're being encouraged to really embrace the time that you do have together and not be afraid of getting attached to someone. Because I think that your person is feeling that level of attachment already. And I feel like they're working really hard to keep themselves held back. But, you know, obviously the Devil gets a really bad rap, and it's because it's, well, you know, the Devil. But also, you know, the Devil card isn't inherently negative. There's a lot about the Devil that's, like, positive, and a lot of it has to do with, like, one of the shadows of the Devil, you know, obviously it represents Capricorn energy. That can be workaholism, and that can be things like, you know, all work and no play. And so, you know, the Devil plays as hard as he works. And so I think for you guys, you're really being encouraged to be engaged with one another the next time you see each other, and don't be afraid to get freaky. Don't be afraid to get don't be afraid to get nasty. Don't be afraid to get intimate. Don't be afraid to get real and like honest. Like I feel like actually one thing that you may be afraid of when it comes to being with your person is like just, you know, you know that meme that's like, if you can't handle me at my worst, like you don't deserve me at my best. It's kind of like that, but not really. Like I feel like you're so afraid of showing your person like your more human side or your insecurities or your fears. And I think those are the things that are going to make your person feel the closest to you, and actually what are going to help you both feel more bonded and feel safer. I think if anything, if you both are trying to like keep up this facade of like, oh yeah, everything's cool, everything's chill, calm, cool, collected, I think you might leave the other with the impression that like neither of you really care that much, and like you're not as invested as you truly are. So I actually think you're really being encouraged to indulge in the fantasies you have with one another, to indulge in, you know, all of the quote unquote sinful pleasures that you can with another person. I feel like you're really being encouraged to embrace and enjoy the time you have with them and not be so afraid of attachment and of letting go of your inhibitions and letting go of all of your daily responsibilities and stuff like that. Like, if you are someone who is so hyper independent that the thought of even being remotely open or vulnerable with another person gives you the ick or makes you afraid, that is a sign that you could really use some connection in your life, my dude. And it would, in fact, be very good for you. What you think you don't need is actually what your soul may be craving. So I think in this case, this Devil energy could be exactly what you both need in order to recognize that, like, yes, this is something really special and really solid. Because I think one thing that's important is you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who isn't honest about their flaws or is pretending to be someone else in order to get you to like them. Like, I don't think either of you are doing that, but I feel like both of you just may be afraid about like being radically honest about who you are, afraid of like sharing too much of yourself, because what if it turns the other person off, and is like, well, they'll discover those things eventually. And I think more than anything, by being honest about, you know, your insecurities, by your fears, by your worries, about your kinks, about what you're attracted to, about what you want, about your fears, about what you lust after, what, like, everything. I feel like that's just going to help you both get closer to one another and see each other's humanity, and also help take one another off a pedestal a little bit. And I also think that this is a wonderful opportunity for you both to recognize where your shadows have been running this show, and recognize how they've been distorting your perspective, so that you don't have to carry and hold on to those perspectives anymore. Because the beautiful thing about this Fool energy is that I think that this new beginning is meant to help you both feel lighter and freer in a way where maybe both of you have looked at like a romantic connection as something that traps you and something that is maybe not meant for you. And maybe you realize, like, through this attachment, through this connection, that you actually feel very free, and you feel better than you have in a long time, and you actually feel connected in a way where you've never felt that sort of connection on your own, or you haven't realized how maybe you have suffered in your own ways for not connecting more with others. Ultimately, though, I feel like by really letting go of what you think you should do, letting go of your fears, getting out of your head, and just really enjoying yourself with your person, and even just enjoying, just getting into your hedonistic energy with them a little bit, and just not being afraid to really indulge in the time that you spend with them, and indulge in being in their presence. Like, I feel like that will just help cement the connection even further, and cement the attachment, where like the both of you are just going to feel confident enough to take this leap of faith, because there's no doubt or uncertainty in terms of like where the other person is at and whether this is like truly mutual. So that's really beautiful. But now I want to look at what the worst case scenario for this next meeting is, and how to avoid it, because I don't know about y'all, but I know I catastrophize, and I know a lot of you do too. So if we know that, then we can avoid it. So Spirit, what's the worst possible? Okay. All right, we have the Eight of Swords, and how can we avoid that? We have the Ace of Cups, which is just so beautiful. And guess what? On the back of the deck, we have Judgment, which I think is so fitting. With this Two of Wands too as well. Like, I feel like definitely the next time after, which is interesting because we have the Ace of Wands and then Two of Wands. So I feel like after the next time you see each other, like, I don't think that there will be as long of a gap in like plans or things like that. Like, I think you both will feel comfortable, like, you know, the general direction the connection is headed in. And also with Judgment, I feel like there are going to be truths that come out the next time you see each other that you can't really go back from, like the truth of your feelings, or the truth of this connection for the both of you. And also with Judgment, that's a lot about rebirth and transformation. So I do think that things will be changing in really powerful ways the next time you're with one another. But let's talk about the worst case scenario. So the worst case scenario is this Eight of Swords. And I think that this applies to both of you, but you especially. And I don't care if you're feeling called out, pile 4, because you should. You should feel called out, because I am directly calling you out with peace and love. So the worst case scenario here is that you let your self-imposed, you stay stuck in a prison of your own thoughts. It is a self-imposed prison that you are staying in. And as a result, things are not shared, worries are not expressed, and connection isn't truly happening because one of you or both of you is so stuck in your head that you're not even observing the present. So I say this all the time, and if you've ever seen any of my readings, I say all the time that anxiety screams and intuition whispers. And if you're feeling anxious, or if you're stuck in your head, it is very hard to listen to your intuition, because you can't hear your intuition in your head. It speaks to you through things like your gut and your heart. And so if you're in your head, it's harder for you to listen to those, and it's harder for you to trust what those are telling you, because your head wants evidence or proof. And a lot of times when it comes to intuition, we don't have that. And a lot of times when it comes to life in general, we don't know what we're getting into before we get into it. We have to be willing to take that risk and be open to, and trust that we're going to be able to handle whatever challenges, or whatever blessings or hardships that come from these changes. So ultimately, the worst case scenario is that you and your person don't make the most of your time together, and instead hold things back, are not honest about certain fears, or honest about certain truths. Like, the worst case scenario here is that one or both of you is so stuck in their head or their fears that you're not connecting, and ultimately you're not progressing the connection forward because of your own fear. And you're staying, like, the worst case scenario is that you stay stuck in the stagnancy that already exists because of whatever limitations are on the connection currently. But the beautiful thing is that I don't think that is really going to happen, because ultimately your person, I think, is going to be less afflicted by this Eight of Swords energy, by this worst case scenario energy, because I think your person is going to be very is going to be standing very strong in their convictions and what they feel. And I think actually this distance might be kind of a trial period for them, where they're like, you know, where meeting up with you again and seeing you again is going to be the like the final like answer of like, okay, is this the person that I want to take a leap of faith with? Or, you know, is this the person like that I want to continue seeing? Or is this the person that I want to continue being in a relationship with? Or is this the person that I want to, you know, try my hand at a serious relationship with, or even, you know, consider dating, wherever you're at? Like, I think that your person is going to be much more in an energy of like, yes, I want to do this and I feel good about this. And I think that they're only going to feel even more they're only going, their convictions around you and around what they want with you are only going to be stronger the next time they see you, because they're going to feel it and they're going to know it in a way that it doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the heart, and it comes from the gut especially. And you even see it here with this heart. Like, I love how it's literally above love through the stomach. So the way to avoid this is by, you know, one, taking the opportunity to share your emotions and share how you're truly feeling, but also to be open and receptive to when your person is also sharing how they feel and sharing their emotions. I feel like your next meeting is going to be rife with opportunities to be honest about your feelings, to connect emotionally, and to be emotionally available. And I feel like your person is really going to want that. And I think you're going to want that as well. I think it's going to be just a little bit, maybe for some of you, this is the first time you've been around someone who's so emotionally available. And so you might be almost be like kind of bewildered by it, and then maybe recognize yourself where you've been emotionally unavailable. And you might almost have to challenge yourself and be like, okay, I'm being emotionally unavailable. How do I express these emotions? And you may realize that you have been hard on other people because they were emotionally available, without even realizing that you, in fact, have emotional unavailability that you have not been addressing within yourself. So that might be something that is particularly confronting the next time you see this person. But ultimately, this is very beautiful energy, because I feel like there are going to be plenty of opportunities for you to get out of your head when that does happen. And I think that the biggest thing that you need to know is any worst case scenarios that you're feeling are ultimately in your head. And like literally the worst case scenario here is that you don't get out of your head and you are not able to move this connection forward in the way that you wanted to, because you're stuck on whatever fears that you have. But I feel like, honestly, I don't even think that this is going to be too much of an issue, because the Eight of Swords, unlike the Nine of Swords, talks about how you can free yourself from this. But considering you will have someone else with you, someone, not just someone, but someone who either loves you or is really, really into you and has deep feelings for you and really wants the best for this connection, the best for you and the best for them, like, they're not going to be in a position where they're just going to let you ruminate. Like, I think if they notice you ruminating, they're probably going to bring it up, or they're probably going to try to reassure you. Because I think your person definitely is intuitive, especially with that Queen of Cups energy. And I think they'll probably be able to tell when you're in your head, and they may not even need to consciously know what you need, but they may just give it anyway. But Amazonite might be a good stone to look into, because it's a wonderful stone for like the throat chakra and communicating. And I also find that it's just a good stone in terms of like, if you're a worrywart or you really just struggle with like a racing mind, I feel like Amazonite can be quite soothing at times. But pile 4, we're going to go ahead now and look at what guidance there is for your connection with this person moving forward, and what signs and synchronicities are related to this connection. So to start, we have the eagle with ancestral healing. Your ancestors are holding space for you to heal your past. So I love that we have the eagle here. So I definitely think that one, bird, we got big bird energy. We got an owl, we got a vulture, we got an eagle. So I think birds could be significant. But I also think that maybe your ancestors specifically manifested this person or specifically helped guide this person into your life to help you heal ancestral lines as well as things on a personal level. But I also think one thing that you need to know is that you are being watched over and you are being cared for by your ancestors, by your guides, by the universe at large. And I think that you're really being encouraged to recognize how doing all of this dirty work, doing all of this healing is not for nothing. And even, you might be looking at like past connections and feeling like, what was the point of going through all that if it wasn't going to turn into a relationship or if it wasn't going to turn into whatever? And, I would tell you, and like, this is not from a place of channeling. This is just from a place of Madison caring about you from personal experience. If you don't know, that's my regular name. Sometimes people come into our lives to teach us things, and we may feel like, what was the point if we weren't in a concrete relationship, or if we didn't do this, or we didn't achieve that. And the thing is, look at what you've already healed and grown from, and look at how that has helped you in your current connection with this current person. In what ways are you not triggered in ways you would have been in the past? In what ways have you evolved and look at things differently that you wouldn't have in the past? In what ways are you willing to face and confront your fears in ways you would have run from them in the past? Like, I think that there's a lot here that you're not giving yourself credit for in terms of what you've already grown and evolved from. But I also think that you may be just beating yourself up for being human and allowing your and like having fears in general. So I think your ancestors and just your guides in general are really encouraging you to look at things from more of a bird's eye perspective and recognize that, like, it's going to take time to heal and grow things, but awareness is a big first step. And I also think that this connection is a wonderful opportunity for you to heal your past and heal, any past pain that may be still lingering. So I definitely think that you're being encouraged to embrace where things are headed and trust that you're being protected. And obviously with an eagle, I can't help but think America and freedom. So just know that, like, you got ultimate freedom. You got unlimited opportunities. No child left behind. I don't know why I'm talking like George Bush. I don't think that's how George Bush talks, but anyway. A lot of you are like, who's George Bush? And I'm like, you don't need to know. I'm glad you don't know. Anyway, we also have the Seven of Wands, which talks about victory, hope, and defense, which I'm really more concerned about the crystal behind here. But this has a snowflake on it, so snowflakes could be an important synchronicity. But the number 7 in general, like, I think is significant for your connection. So I feel like this is a sign too to remember that, like, don't give up. Like, if you really care about this situation, it is going to come around. It is headed in a positive direction, and it is going to work out as long as you're patient. Like, I feel like the only way the situation is not going to come to fruition is if, like, you're impatient and, like, push this person away because things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like them to, or you're letting your fears get the best of you. Ooh, but we have Sapphire with wisdom and clarity, and I'm wearing Sapphire. I wonder if I can show you without getting my face in it, because it's, like, really tiny. But no, yeah, I don't know, like, sorry, I'm really close to the camera right now, but there's a little teeny tiny sapphire, and it's a picture of Athena. I don't know, can you see it? I think I'm too close to the camera. Yeah, there's it. Yes, there it is. Meh. Okay, so yeah, there's that sapphire. So that could be great for gaining wisdom about this connection so far and clarity. But we also have the solar plexus chakra with ease. The trigger statement is, I have to make this work. And the true statement is, I am at ease with life. You need to ease your grip on life so that I can lead the way. There is an outcome brighter than you can imagine. Yeah, it's like you might be trying to control the situation or just feeling like you need to do everything to make this work. But really, especially if this connection has already been easy, I feel like you should be under the expectation that, like, it will continue to be easy. You don't have to overcomplicate it. And, if you're not used to things being easy, it might make you feel like you need to overthink, or, like, it might make you worried you're missing something. But I feel like the only thing you're missing is the realization that life doesn't have to be so hard all the time, and life doesn't have to be so painful and challenging all the time. And because you've been through those experiences, of course, you're going to naturally assume that life is that way, but life is trying to show you a different expression of it, one that's easier, one that's brighter, one that feels good, one that feels more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And, you know, the cool thing too is that it so closely resembles the color and the background of the fox. And so, you know, I feel like one thing you need to know is that your person is actually very committed to making this work already, even if they're not communicating that to you. Like, I feel like they already have this resolve, but they also, like, they want to do what works best. And I also feel like they don't want to force things. They want things to happen in the most aligned way. And ultimately, I think your person is just really concerned about, you know, just making sure that things aren't rushed, and that you both have enough time and space to, like, process things. And I feel like they feel like things are flowing really well and flowing really nicely, and they want to continue that. Like, they don't want to, like, force something awkward or just, like, place limitations on this connection that don't need to be there yet, or whatever that may be. So I feel like, yeah, you're really just being encouraged to trust the flow of this situation, especially if it's on your person, to kind of get the details worked out, because I promise you they are already, like, I feel like very set on you. It's just a matter, like, I feel like their feelings are only going to be getting deeper, and, like, the longer time you spend apart, like, just the more they miss you. But we also have 888, so 88, 888, but that's another 8, which is August energy. Could be significant. You have high ambitions, but remember to stay humble on the way. You have a lot of opportunities all around you, but you might get overwhelmed planning and not acting. Meditate and clear your mind. So I also think as well, like, both of you could be very ambitious and be working on a lot, and it could be that maybe your person is, like, very, you know, they're taken away from stuff because they do have to work a lot, and maybe you have a lot of work as well, but your worries and fears about this connection are getting in the way of your ability to work. And so I really feel like you're being encouraged to recognize how, you know, ruminating on things you can't control and worrying about things you can't control can really create issues for you that don't even need to exist. So I would just pay attention to that, but also just recognize that, you know, especially if you are getting very worried or, like, you know, impatient with seeing this person, you know, one of the best things you can do is channel your energy into things that you enjoy, because that helps time go faster. But finally, we also have the pumpkin here with productivity and Cancer energy and the grounding symbol. So I think you're really being encouraged to do things that are productive with your time and energy, and you're being encouraged to be your own best parent. Oh, look, another 8. So 8s are really significant for you guys. And, you know, an 8 on its side is the infinity symbol. So I feel like everything is always going to come full circle. Like, you really don't need to worry about this connection. Like, I feel like the both of you are paired very well and are really, really connected on the same wavelength. But I feel like you could make your life easier for yourself by focusing on what you can control. And also, if you anticipate, like, needing to make big changes in order to create more space for this in your life, focus on what space you can create in the now, so that when the future comes and this leap of faith is, you know, ready to happen, you're much more prepared for it, and there's less work to do. It's almost like setting yourself up for success. And also paying attention to, like, your brain patterns and making sure you're not falling into unproductive modes of thinking that are just disempowering you and making you feel bad about yourself or feeling fearful. So pile 4, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the extended now. So if you'd like to meet me over there, please do so. But if you're leaving me here, thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background, because that is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show appreciation for me and for what I do, and to help me continue doing this. So thank you to everyone who does that. But if you'd like to support me in other ways, some free and easy ways to do that are to like this video if you enjoyed this reading. That helps me so much. So thank you to everyone who does that. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. If it did, you can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can also check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off on any candles on Angelic Magic 888's website, not just mine, but all of them. And you can also check out my merch and my social media. But that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching and for being here. And oh yeah, you can also just watch like other videos and check out those extendeds, or you know, just whatever. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I hope this reading resonated and you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye.